Buffalo Fanatics. It's Don Brown. Yeah, I'm a fanatic. I'm a Buffalo fanatic. Play good, be humble. Number 17, the captain. I'm a Buffalo fanatic. I'm a Buffalo fanatic. I'm a Buffalo fanatic. Ay, I'm a Buffalo fanatic. Ay, I'm a Buffalo fanatic. Just like Rico, going live, talking to my people. Cause the team's driven like West Hurt. Other teams can't, it's a repo. The opponents gotta call up triple O. Bills,
ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Rico. It's your boy Bot. It's Rico and Bot in the afternoon, hitting you on a Friday. Get your weekend started. I hope you guys are prepped up, ready to roll with us to hit some Bills topics, NFL topics, outside of football topics. We got it all right here on Rico and Bot in the afternoon. I hope you guys are ready to roll with us, man. Z-Bot, what's the word, my guy? What's happening? What's good? It's been a minute. It feels like it's been a minute. What's happening?
It has. Well, it has. What's up? What's happening? Things are good. College football 25 is officially in the ether. It exists. You can play it, and I've been playing it, Rico. I've been playing the living hell out of it. It has somewhat ruined my life this past week. It has derailed all of the actual things I have to get done because I've been too busy coaching the Penn State Nittany Lions to their their first ever playoff berth in the new college football system. Game's incredible, so that's been great this week. Weather's been crazy down here and all over New York, really. Storms have been nuts, so it's been either really hot or like crazy rain and cool. Sure. So a little nutty there, but I think we're under 50 days away, Rico. I know we always like to talk to kick it off with where we're at in terms of how far away we are from football. We're about 50-ish days away from kickoff. So we are ever so close, man. Training camp's right around the corner, man.
Right around the corner.
Crazy.
Right around the corner, I'm telling you. Speaking of NCAA, because I know that you're a big EA college dude. Real talk. How many hours have you put into NCAA? How much better is it than Madden? Does it even compare to Madden? Did they flop on this game? Or is it the real deal? I'm taking your first word, because I haven't touched the game. I haven't looked at it. I've seen some highlights on YouTube, but I haven't played it yet. Talk to me.
It is the absolute real deal. I haven't seen hype for a video game, or I should say a sports video game, much less a video game, quite like the hype I saw for this game. And this was building up for about 2 years. I think 2 years ago, they announced that it was coming back. And it was so inconceivable to everyone that people thought it was fake, even though the official EA account had put it out. Because you have to remember, I mean, this is how crazy the world has changed. Not just this game, but the world. 2014 was the last iteration of the college football game. And the reason it went a decade without being remade was because of the lawsuits at hand. And of course, college athletes not being paid. That turns into their likeness being used for free, and the video games being a whole issue. That's why the game went away. And so you're looking at about a decade ago where that seemed more than fair. All right, we can't do this anymore, and we're never going to see this game again. And at the time, nobody thought we'd see this game again. You blink, and I guess you shouldn't say blink, but to me, a decade ago, I'm about to graduate high school. That feels like a blink to me, but it's not. You blink, however, if that is a blink.
Right.
And this game now exists because college football has turned into essentially NFL light. And this NIL stuff is absolutely crazy. And they're still trying to navigate that. Basically, every 5-star recruit's getting a Lamborghini when they show up to the campus. You go back to the days when Reggie Bush lost his Heisman over essentially nothing, and now guys are getting Lambos walking on to the campus for a visit. It's crazy.
He's good.
So the fact the game even exists in itself, Rico, is something. I think that plays into it. The nostalgia factor definitely plays into it, and the newness of the ability to play with college teams plays into the hype. But the game itself is absolutely phenomenal. There was no detail overlooked. The developers of this game absolutely nailed it. 134 teams in the game. Every single team has exactly what you'd want from the team in the game if you were a diehard fan. And it doesn't matter if you're a fan of the, the Alabamas of the world, or if you're a fan of the Macs of the world. Every team has every detail oriented towards that team put into the game. The presentation, second to none. And the gameplay, unlike Madden, it's just fun. It's quick. It's it's high flying. The running game, which is never something I always found to be fun with Madden, is a blast.
Is it easy? Because I don't want the run game to be easy, where it's like, oh, the game's. I want it to be somewhat challenging.
It can be challenging if you want it to be. It can be really easy if you want it to be. I will say the running is a little bit overpowered no matter what. Like the spin move in this game is insane. If you're playing with like a 90 overall or higher running back, it's wild. The spin move is essentially like spinning a dreidel. It's crazy how fast it moves. But overall, Rico, in my opinion, this game has lived up to the hype, and I had pretty high standards. I've had an absolute blast playing it, and I can't say that I felt this way about playing a football game throughout the last few iterations of Madden we've had in this time span in which, we've gone without a college football game. So I absolutely love it.
One critique that you could they missed the mark on this one.
That's a good question. Man, I mean, there's really so much that they did right. I haven't really sat back and thought about
on this game, man. You love it.
Yeah, I mean, they've nailed so much. I haven't really sat and thought about what they didn't get.
I gotta cop it.
The commentating's awesome in the sense that they have two broadcast teams. It's one thing I've always felt is lacking in sports games. The authenticity of the broadcast to me really makes the game feel better. Yep. I've always loved that. So I guess I would have loved if they would have incorporated an actual broadcast package from like ESPN or CBS or Fox.
Cut that out.
But the way that they made it, it feels like it's that. I think that there's some room for improvement in commentating in general, like based on the hype of the game. Like if something happens, the flow of the commentating seems to try to catch up to it. Doesn't seem to be in it with real time. But I feel like that's just the issue with everything. Honest to God, Rico, I really don't have a major criticism of the game so far, and I played a pretty good amount of it this week.
All right, so we're gonna rate it like my guy from Barstool rates pizza, right? Out of 10, NCAA. Give it to us,
dude. I gotta give it like a 9 out of 10. I really do.
Crow, bro. All right, I'm gonna have to buy the game and play the game, and then we're gonna find out what
you got it.
Then we'll go online, and then
if we're talking football games, I don't know how I'll just say this from a ratings perspective. If we're talking football games, I don't know how it gets better than this. I don't know.
Love it. Well, the NCAA glow up, EA Sports is here. Cop it, go get it. I'm on the PS5. You're on PC, so we're gonna have to kind of.
No, I'm PS5. I'm PS5.
Bam, the
They
Sony
actually didn't make it for PC this game.
Good.
That was a big criticism, I guess, if you wanted one. People were upset about that. But.
Keep those bums away.
Yeah, I'm not a PC guy. I'm not a hardcore enough gamer to be a PC guy.
I got you. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I always hate on PC guys because I play a lot of Call of Duty, and these PC guys just they ruin the game. But anyway, big shout out to NCAA. If you haven't copped it, go ahead and try that. Let me know how y'all feel. Some people feel like it's the same as Madden. No different. Just a couple things.
I don't know how you. I mean, yeah, certainly there's some similarities. I don't know how you could feel that though. Genuinely.
Listen. You guys let me know if you guys have played it. Let me know what your critiques are. If you guys are viewing this afterwards, if you have played it in the comment section, let me know how you guys feel. Rate it out of 10 and what you like, what you don't like. We'll roll from there. Let's get to a hot topic. Are you ready for this? Let's get to a hot topic. NFL execs sneak dissing? If you guys have been living under a rock, there's word in these streets that feel that Josh Allen is overrated. And this came about when they're rating quarterbacks, some of the best quarterbacks in the game. And I guess Josh Allen's name came up, and an executive that doesn't want to put his name behind his punk ass sneak diss is pretty much saying that, all that hype around Josh Allen, I ain't buying it. He's overrated. He ain't one of the best in the game. He's overhyped. He's however you want to call it. They putting that out there. And And it's wild because if you're going to put something like that out there, as wild as that, stand on it. Stand on your business. So that way, when someone challenges you and says, wait a minute, what you mean he's overrated? Explain yourself. You're going to have to sit there and explain yourself. It's a cowardly thing to do, to put it out there. And then now NFL exec. So now you start looking around and be like, yo, what kind of mess is that? And what makes it stand out even more is when you look at the Hard Knocks. I think it was Hard Knocks, and you're watching the Giants and Joe Shane.
Oh boy,
I thought that was absolutely cringe. The conversation that he had with Saquon Barkley over the phone. Hey, buddy, what you doing? You with the family? You in New Jersey? Okay. Well, here's the thing, buddy. Go get a feeler. Go out there and come back to F off is what I'd say.
Dude.
Do you want me on the team or not?
Brandon Beane's got to be sitting there watching that being like, we'll never let a camera crew in at one Bills drive.
Oh my.
Even if you hold a gun to our head. I'd quit before I'd be a part of that.
Buddy. Atrocious. So then when you see, and I'm not hating on Joe Shane, but when I saw that, I was like, buddy, no. Even I would have had a better conversation with a guy that, even though I know I'm not bringing him back, rip the freaking Band-Aid off. Bro, you cost too much. You're costing us too much. I'd love to have you back, but you got to take this price. We're building. We're trying to do things. You want to be part of this? Let's go. But if not, I respect your decision. It's been great. Let's work something out. But he went all in the rigmarole of nonsense chatter. So this brings me back to NFL exec, whoever this individual is saying that Josh is overrated. Where? I'm trying to find the angle.
I feel that.
And how could you utter those words? He's overrated because what? He's thrown a couple picks. Is that what it is? Help me understand where someone can come off and say, this man is overrated. Tell me. I can't understand it.
I, for the life of me, can't understand it either, especially when it's coming from somebody within the league, somebody employed by the league to be in a position to where a take like this should be backed up by at least something palpable, something genuine, something that gives you a reason to feel as though that this take is deserving of being said, right? I mean, you're not just hearing that from some Dolphins fan on Twitter, which we see a million times a day.
Right.
You're hearing this from a veteran. This was the quote, a veteran NFL executive. This is the exact quote that was said by aforementioned veteran NFL executive. I'd also like to know what NFL executive means. I mean, does NFL executive mean the guy that's working working the concession stands? I have no idea. This could mean anything. But this was the quote. One of the more overrated players in the NFL, the executive said. Immense talent, but he makes a lot of mistakes. He's underdeveloped at winning at the line of scrimmage, tends to lock on to targets. More of a thrower than precision passer. Forces throws into traffic. Okay. First of all.
Yeah, go ahead.
that might be the exact description of Hall of Famer Brett Favre. That might be the exact description of one of the greatest to ever play the game, Hall of Famer Peyton Manning. I don't understand the people's inability to separate making mistakes and having those mistakes be a part of why that player is so great. If Josh Allen didn't make the mistakes that he does, he wouldn't make the highlight reel incredible, what the hell did I just watch plays that he also makes. I've always found that there was a give and take with Josh Allen that you have to accept. Because for every throw that he makes where you say, my God, what was that?
Yep.
He's got two plays under his sleeve that are going to make you say, my God, no way that just happened. Now, are there games like the Jets game last year in week 1 where you leave there and there wasn't a play that stood out positively and it was more so an entirely negative outcome from his gameplay in the game that led to a loss? Sure. But find me a quarterback where you can't say, or, find me the quarterback where you don't say that about at least once or twice a year.
Bingo.
Or at least every now and then. Some are better at it than others, but I would argue that those players aren't nearly as good at the highlight reel plays that we get from Josh Allen, right? But when we're talking about the criticisms here, first of all, underdeveloped at winning at the line of scrimmage. The guy has had 40 touchdowns in 4 consecutive years. I don't understand how you can be underdeveloped at the line of scrimmage, yet do something that nobody has ever done. You're walking up to the line of scrimmage every snap for the last 4 seasons. That has resulted in 40-plus touchdowns, whether it be through the air or on the ground. Yep. And you're telling me that this guy doesn't have what it takes to win at the line of scrimmage? Locks on to targets. I don't even know where that's. I don't know where that's coming from. See, I feel like last year, if anything, we saw the opposite of it. It was the first time in a long time where he was willing to take the underneath route and do less of locking it on guys that maybe he shouldn't go to. And then the more of a thrower than precision passer. How many examples on the top of your head right now, Rio, can you think of where Allen puts it on a rope, on a dime, in a way that nobody else could possibly do? We just saw it in the last game the Bills played against the Chiefs. Stephon Diggs dropped it. So the criticisms to me, okay, are they valid? Sure. I think there's some validity to what is being said here. Like, I think that, he does make a lot more mistakes than maybe you'd like. And does he have more power under his throw than precision? I would argue yes. Does he throw it into traffic often? Probably more than you'd like. But are all of those things adding up to you, Rico, as equaling one of the more overrated players in the NFL? How can you score 40 touchdowns in 4 consecutive years and be considered overrated?
This is what it feels like to me. This is a veteran NFL exec that pegged Josh Allen as this guy's going to be an overrated bum. Everybody's hyping him up. He's not that guy. What it seems like is that description that you read was what he wrote about Josh as a collegiate player coming into the NFL. That's what it looks like. It looks like a rookie report, right? That's what it feels like. So this exec, if he's talking about it now, he's doubling down. He's doubling down, but you can't double down because he's giving you numbers. He has given you numbers. This is the best quarterback in the game in Pat Mahomes. If you guys are looking at this graphic, 50 wins and 15 losses, all right? That's Pat Mahomes. Multiple Super Bowls under his belt, trying to go for a three-peat. He's got 20,000 total yards, 151 total touchdowns, and 54 turnovers. That's the best quarterback in the game. Josh Allen, the overrated one, he's 48-18. He's got 2 less wins than Pat Mahomes. He's got 3 more losses, you know what I'm saying, than Pat Mahomes as a quarterback.
And let's look at the most important thing here, Rico, because people will look at the 75 turnovers.
Right.
But you make up with that. You have 21 more turnovers than Mahomes, but you have 22 more touchdowns. Bingo. It's a wash to me. It's a wash.
So where are you getting this overrated nonsense?
Here's where it comes from, Rico.
Get it.
If the Bills defense makes a stop with 13 seconds left, Josh Allen isn't an overrated quarterback. If Tyler Bass hits the field goal last year and that game ends differently, Josh Allen isn't an overrated quarterback. This is why this take sucks so much. It's such low-hanging fruit. Because the others involved in the team game have fallen short at times when Josh Allen has seemed to play his best. Josh Allen takes the brunt of the blame, and it then fuels the take of he's overrated. When you look at the biggest moments that he's played in, he's played his best football. You could argue right now, throughout the duration of the time in which he's been in the league, there hasn't been a better quarterback in the playoffs than Josh Allen, outside of course, Patrick Mahomes. He's been probably the best playoff quarterback in the league since he's entered it, outside of Mahomes, despite the fact that they haven't made it to a Super Bowl. I don't know what it is, though, about Allen that seems to be the easy punching bag over a guy like Lamar Jackson. Because a guy like Lamar Jackson's on everybody's top 100 ballots in the top 10. He's got 2 MVPs. No one ever wants to come out and say, hey, where's Lamar Jackson's playoff success. Hey, where was Lamar Jackson's MVP numbers that somehow earned him a unanimous MVP bid last year if it weren't for one vote for guess who? Josh Allen. This is the one thing that kills me. I understand the easy, low-hanging fruit of saying he's overrated, and it's all coming down to the fact that he hasn't won the big one yet. But to me, the easy way to go and dispute this is Lamar Jackson, because he has all of the same criticisms lying out on the table, but yet never seems to get him. Always seems to go in Josh Allen's favor in the bad way. 2 MVPs for Lamar Jackson. He's talked about, like, you know, he's talked about in this regard, like, you know, if you were to hear him be called overrated by an NFL exec, you would feel just as shitty as you do right now about it with Josh Allen. I know I would.
Absolutely.
I know I would. But for some reason, Josh Allen always gets all the faults on him. It's always on him. And that's what bugs me, is because it all comes down to the fact that if 13 seconds go a different way, if a field goal goes a different way, none of this happens. It's just easy to say it because he doesn't have an MVP. He doesn't have a Super Bowl ring. At the very bare minimum, Rico, I think he should have at least one MVP right by now, but we're not the ones voting. And clearly if we were, things would be different, because to me, the way that these things stack up year after year, it makes no sense how the end result ends up being what it is.
And here's the thing that matters most, what most people say. What you do in the regular season is great. What you do in the playoffs is obviously way more important. Obviously, you want to get the wins, but how you individually play means a lot. It means a lot. And Josh in the playoffs is a different quarterback. Josh in the playoffs has a rating of 100 with 2,700 rushing yards, passing yards, with 21 touchdowns, with just 4 interceptions in 10 games. That's overrated. You're looking at one of the best quarterbacks in the game. We sitting here talking about practice, aka Josh Allen being overrated. Yo, NFL exec, whoever you are, right? Senior NFL exec, stand on it, man. Yo, y'all been talking about me in the media, talking about, you know what I mean, I'm a coward in this. I'm not a coward. Here's why I think he's overrated. Take a look at this, take a look at that, and then let the whole world roast your ass, and they might not even take you seriously and say you're the overrated exec. You don't want that, do you, Mr. Exec? Come on, man. Put your name on it. Stand on your business. If you say it, mean it. And that's why I try to stay positive with a whole lot of people, not a whole lot of chatting and stuff like that. Like, if you don't like someone, just straight up say you don't like the person. Just say you don't like him. I don't like this person. He's arrogant. He's this. And that's why I'm hating. I'm straight hating. Or just say, you know what, folks? Maybe I overspoke. And they would actually respect this. I would actually respect it. Bro, he's nice. I'm just hating. Because I said he was going to win back when he started, but he's proven me wrong. I'm just hating because I was wrong. Just say that. And we'll brush it off and say, yo, another hater. Because Josh has got a lot of haters. We'll just toss you in the hater category and put you to the side. But you're sitting here putting it out there that he's overrated. Come on, man. That's crazy talk.
It's weird to me. It's weird to me how people are unable to separate their hatred for the appreciation of the game. Like, can I not stand Patrick Mahomes? Of course. Can't stand him. Do I think he's one of the best players I've ever seen play the sport? You're damn right. Is there anybody on the planet who might respect him more than me? Probably not. But I can't stand him for obvious reasons, because of how good he is. And I've had plenty of Chiefs fans tell me they feel the same way about Josh Allen. So like you said, go ahead and say whatever you want, but be able to say it in a way that you're being honest with yourself.
Say it with your chest.
I would never come out and say, oh, Mahomes, just because I don't like Mahomes based on what he's done to the Bills. This would be the equivalent of me not liking what Mahomes has done to the Bills. Therefore, I come out and say, well, yeah, Mahomes, he's overrated. You know, his defense carried him last year. His defense won that Super Bowl last year. It's nuts. You just sound like an idiot. And that's what's crazy to me about saying stuff like this, especially from a position of being an NFL executive. There's only one way I can see it, Rico. You just want to be a contrarian. Like, all of a sudden now, I don't know if you've noticed this. Like, the sexy thing now is to say, like, Jordan Love's the next big thing, or CJ Stroud's the next big thing. I forget who the guy was on ESPN who said he would take Jordan Love over any other quarterback.
I don't know who it was. Somebody did say that. Yeah,
and it's like, to me, it just seems like, oh, like who can come up with the next most clickbaity thing to say? And this guy did it. Now, granted, he didn't get the credit for it. He didn't have his name attached to it. But there was every show out there was talking about this the next day. So that just seems to be what it is. It's unfortunately the result of the world we live in. The dumber thing you say, the more it's going to get talked about. It seems to be the opposite. The more intelligent thing you say, it gets forgotten.
You're so right. Bada Bing Crosby says, yo, if there's no controversy during the offseason, go create some. This happens every year. And there's nothing wrong with controversy. But make it where someone actually sits and goes, ooh, that's a really good conversation to have. That's a really good conversation to have. Yo, let's talk about it. Those are the things you bring up in a barbershop. Those are the things you bring up sitting around the campfire and you just talking shit with your boys or whatever. I said campfire. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, wherever you are. You know what I'm saying? After the baseball game and you're having a beer in the parking lot. You know what I'm saying? That type of shit. That you have conversation where you know what that's a fair point. But this is just absolutely wild. That's absolutely wild to me. So NFL execs out there.
Here's what I wonder though. How far do you deem overrated to be defined? In the sense that if I were to ask this NFL exec where he'd rank Allen, is he still in his top 5 quarterbacks? Like, how far does this go? Is it overrated to the point where he's saying, oh, I'm taking Jared Goff over him. I'm taking Matt Stafford over him. I'm taking Trevor Lawrence over him. Like, how far does this go? Because I think you can say, if you wanted to say, I think Allen's a bit overrated, I'd take Joe Burrow and I would take Lamar Jackson over him. Okay, fine. I'll hear you out on that. Right? But when you come out and say one of the most overrated players in the league, to me, that sort of means more than just your standard, he's my 4th best quarterback, not my 2nd best quarterback. Because that seems to usually be the debate. That seems to typically be the debate with Allen. Either he's your 2nd best quarterback in the league or he's your 4th and 5th. Usually argued with Burrow and Lamar Jackson. When you say one of the most overrated players in the league, that tells me you don't even think this guy is worthy of being discussed in the realm in which he's constantly discussed by everybody who watches the sport.
As well.
So you're the one that's right. And I want to touch on this. I don't know if you've been watching that Hard Knocks.
No, I haven't. But go on.
You hear this term NFL exec and you watch this Hard Knocks and it starts to make you wonder,
Say it.
It makes you wonder, maybe the person saying this isn't all that qualified to be, in the position in which they're in. Because I'm watching this Hard Knocks and it just seems like a lot of things are done behind closed doors that just seem blatantly obvious that they shouldn't be done. I'll give you a perfect example. I've watched every episode so far. Yep. And it seemed blatantly obvious that ownership for the New York Giants did not want to let Saquon Barkley go. And when I say not let him go, I mean like figure out a way to keep him. And it went even further to the point where there was an emphasis on him not going to the Eagles. That would be the worst case scenario.
Right.
And it just seemed like the way things went within the Giants building, there wasn't much of a fight against the offer the Eagles made, and they just kind of let him go almost instantly. That whole scenario that we're watching unfold to transition to the Hard Knocks here, what we're watching unfold here, because you and I have talked about this new age, and I think this fits into it perfectly.
Yep.
You and I have talked about this new age of media where it seems like all access has gotten to the point where we're going to start watching these guys changing in the locker room. I mean, that's how deep. I mean, you might as well throw a camera in the locker room and be able to watch these guys put on their uniforms and talk behind closed doors at all times. I mean, I think that's where we're getting to, because now we have guys podcasting right after the game. Of course, we have never been more tapped into the inner workings. And now you have cameras in the building as these trades are going down. And you can't tell me that every other team in the league is watching the Giants be the guinea pig. This is the first time that they've done this. It's the first time that they have done a off-season Hard Knocks.
Okay.
There's 31 other teams watching this saying, there's no way in hell we'll ever sign up for this. Joe Shane comes out of this whole thing looking not good. I mean, they show you point blank how badly they don't want Daniel Jones to be their quarterback. That's like if I'm Daniel Jones watching this, the whole thing's great. Dude, they were actively trying to find a situation to trade up and get a quarterback. And then at the end of it, they're basically like, oh, well, we're just going to roll with Daniel and get him a weapon. And we're watching this. And the whole time I'm watching this, I feel like I'm watching something I shouldn't be watching. If that makes sense. Like, you know how, like, if you, I don't know, you're in a room, you're sleeping in the other room, and there's people on the outside, and they're talking about something, and you hear it, and you're like, oh, I shouldn't be hearing this. Something super personal.
Yep.
This is essentially that on HBO Max. I mean, it's insane what we're watching. And I think about it from the Bills' perspective, and I would not want any of this stuff coming out on our behalf because it would just terrify the hell out of me.
Brandon Beane would not allow. Listen, if they force the Bills to be on Hard Knocks, the Bills already are tight-lipped about certain things in the first place. So, I mean, you see how embedded it is and so on and so forth. They give you just enough, but they'll give you a whole bunch. So in Hard Knocks, they're obviously trying to, kind of find little crevices and crumbs of stuff. They would not allow any of that stuff to happen. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. But I do want to show you this. So talking about like top 10 lists and so on and so forth. I found this top 10 list somewhere, and I'm curious. I want to see what your thoughts are on this, and you let me know if you see our overrated Josh Allen. He's at number 3. Would you change this list at all, or do you feel that this list is apropos? It's the right. Everybody's slotted in where they're supposed to be slotted in. If you look at this list, and this goes out to the chat that's watching this right now, if you're viewing this on Twitter, wherever you're viewing this, are you good with this list? Is 2 and 3 quarterbacks, 2 and 3? Is that the right call?
But despite what this quote NFL executive says, I have a hard time thinking that if you had a redraft right now and there were only 2 options and you had the first pick. So say you did a hypothetical where there's only 2 quarterbacks. Say you need say just in this fantasy world.
Sure.
All 31 other teams need a quarterback. Okay. And they have 2 choices, Joe Burrow or Josh Allen. I'd be willing to stake a significant wager. Honest to God, I think I'd almost be willing to bet my life
that
there wouldn't be more than 1 or 2 max, maybe not even that would take Joe Burrow over Josh Allen. That's how confident I am in that. Yet oftentimes you will see lists that have Joe Burrow over Josh Allen. I get it in the sense that I think currently Joe Burrow is the best iteration of the pocket passer in that young group that there is. And I think that he will be that for the foreseeable future. But Josh Allen might be one of, if not the best dual threat quarterback we've ever seen. And I don't think it's that crazy to say he might be the most athletic quarterback we'll ever see.
Who's that?
Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen is a generational player. He is a guy. Joe Burrow's a great quarterback. I'm not tuning in because Joe Burrow's must-see TV. I'm tuning in because Josh Allen's must-see TV. I'm tuning in because Patrick Mahomes is must-see TV. I'm tuning in because Lamar Jackson is must-see TV. Mm-hmm. Josh Allen is just different. Joe Burrow is an incredible quarterback, but I don't think he has those rare attributes that Josh Allen has. And that's why I think that if you want to put Lamar at 2, I'm fine with it. I just always feel like Lamar and Allen should be ahead of Joe Burrow at all times. The other thing I also factor into real quick, Rico, just to say, Josh Allen has been incredibly healthy throughout his career, and Joe Burrow has a pretty significant injury history at this point in time, too. So that's how I see it. This list to me is pretty damn good. I really do like this list. I don't even know if I wouldn't have Rodgers up that high at this point. I just wouldn't. Outside of that, though, I do like this list. But the Joe Burrow thing, to me, I understand why people have him up there. But I have a hard time watching the game week in and week out, watching Allen play and watching Burrow play, and then having the takeaway be, I'm taking Burrow over Allen. You know what I mean?
I do. And this list, like you said, I agree with you. This is a very good list, a solid list. The argument that I find that they have Joe Burrow, and I think it's based on 2 things.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Burrow plays well against Pat. I mean, he's beaten Pat Mahomes.
And this is what it all comes back to.
That's what it comes down to, right?
Yeah,
I think this is what people are basing it. Not only has he beaten Pat Mahomes, He's taken his team further than Josh Allen has. So people are gonna sit there and be like, how are you gonna put Josh Allen over Joe Burrow when Pat Mahomes owns Josh Allen? You can't. And not only that, head to head, Joe Burrow absolutely has dominated the Bills. He's actually played well enough that he's put that situation and that conversation to bed. So when most people are looking at this list, Josh Allen is the better athlete. He can throw, he can run, but like they're looking at it. Well, hold on. Well, let's go head to head. How do they compete with each other head to head? Oh yeah, Joe Burrow has the edge. So that's why I think Joe Burrow is ahead of Josh Allen. But if you asked if you're going to start a franchise and you got to do a draft right now, and you're picking number 2, who you got, Josh Allen or Joe Burrow? And you're taking in their whole career in totality. Excuse me. I can't even speak, right? Injuries, statistics, toughness, leadership, all those things, pressure, like how do they perform under pressure? I think most times, like you said, I say 8 times out of 10, they're probably going to choose Josh Allen.
Dude, I really don't have a tough time saying 10 out of 10. I really would like to meet the GM. Like if you got all of these GMs blackout hammered, all of them, and got the God's honest truth, like you put them on a lie detector test, whatever you have to do to make sure you get the God's honest truth.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't think it's a stretch to say that I think 31 teams in this league would take Josh Allen over Joe Burrow. Outside of overall pocket presence, I don't know what Joe Burrow is better at than Josh Allen. Many people will say not turning the ball over. Okay, fine. But like we just got through talking about, and you either get this or you don't. I'm done arguing about this with people. You either get it or you don't.
There you go.
Turnovers also come with, for instance, the rushing touchdown he had last year against the Steelers in the playoffs. Have you ever seen anything like that? Have you ever seen a man of that size move like that?
My favorite run of Josh Allen.
So this is what I'm saying. Your immediate thing would say, well, I'm taking Burrow. He's less of a troublemaker when it comes to turning the ball over. Okay, fine. But he's also way less of a playmaker. So you can't have one without the other. So outside of overall pocket presence, and I get that that's something that people, it's a high value thing. People really value. That's why I think Matthew Stafford is still as highly valued as he is. He's still the best pocket present quarterback in the league as far as a veteran is concerned. I think Jared Goff is right there as well. But Matt Stafford, of course, the best. Joe Burrow, as I mentioned earlier, is the best of that. I can't even say young anymore. I don't even know how you phrase these guys. Matt Stafford is a seasoned vet. These other guys are just your other veterans. It's just crazy to me that we can't say young quarterback anymore because there's a whole new wave of other young quarterback. I don't even know what to call these guys anymore. Seriously. But other than, and to me, this has always been a feel. A guy is a pocket guy or he isn't. Like, you just know it. Josh Allen can be that, but his overall game, like if you were to do a My Player on College Football 25, like you can create a player now.
Right.
And you had to pick between the attributes, and there's always a pocket passer or an athlete or whatever. You wouldn't label Josh Allen the pocket passer. You would label Joe Burrow the pocket passer. You would label Josh Allen the athlete. So because I think that Joe Burrow's game is completely dedicated around that, of course he's a better pocket present quarterback, and he always is going to be. Outside of that, though, what is Joe Burrow better at when it comes to playing the quarterback position than Josh Allen? And I'll further that. What is anybody else on that list better at than Josh Allen is? I don't know if you can say anything.
I mean, I think I'll talk about Bengals fans, and I've had the Cincinnati podcast, my two dudes, and they love Joe Shiesty. And Joe Shiesty is just cool under pressure. Cool under pressure. You're not going to have the what the hell was that type of conversation, because we do have some moments where we have to say that to Josh Allen. Absolutely. What the F was that, Josh? Why'd you throw 4 picks against the Jets? We had them, right? Though you don't really see too much of that from Joe Burrow. So that might be, I guess, the under pressure. But I mean, when push comes to shove and Josh needs to make a play, he makes a play. So that might be the edge, maybe some accuracy. They might give Joe Burrow some accuracy over Josh Allen. But at the end of the day, if you're picking one, most folks, I think, would pick Josh Allen. I'm not saying because we're Bills fans. I just think it's just what it is.
No, because I'm saying right now, I would take Lamar Jackson over Joe Burrow. And I'm not a
Now
Ravens fan.
Now you wildin'. I don't know if I'm picking Lamar Jackson, and I love Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's my guy. I don't know if I'm picking. I mean, you ready to put Lamar Jackson over Burrow? So Burrow what? Jumps down to number 4?
That's
Burrow
where I would have him. That would be my ranking. I'm on record saying this, and I'll say this. I will say this like a broken record until that record player blows up. I'll say this until I'm shown that I shouldn't say it any longer. I think that the MVP, and this is why I think it's a travesty that Josh Allen hasn't won one, because these other two have 2, while Josh Allen has 0. But I think the MVP should be on rotation between Allen, Mahomes, and Lamar Jackson until I'm proven otherwise. Those are the 3 most gifted players in the league who are subsequently the most valuable players to their team. You remove those 3 quarterbacks, and we know this for a fact. You remove Lamar Jackson from the Ravens. We've watched what that looks like because we've seen it. A couple years before this past year, Lamar was hurt by December, and that team was a shell of itself, and they weren't the Ravens that you fear. Lamar's out there. You fear the Baltimore Ravens. Same with Patrick Mahomes. Joe Burrow goes down last year, and I know the Bengals struggled without him, and they would have been a hell of a lot better with him, but they still looked viable without Joe Burrow last year. If Josh Allen goes down last year, this team was 6-6 with Josh Allen. These Buffalo Bills probably finished 6-11 last year if Josh Allen gets hurt in week 4 or week 5. I don't even think that. I don't even know if 6 wins is obtainable without Josh Allen. So I think when we're talking about valuable, that's how I look at those 3 guys. And I think Joe Burrow is the best quarterback outside of that 3-window tier of special. The special to me right now, and there's other guys that I think could get there. Stroud, to me, I really think could get there. I think Jordan Love might have the ability to get there, but there's way too small a sample size on Jordan Love. I will say with Stroud, every game he played in last year, for the most part, he was special. That could creep into it.
So let's end this by looking at this. So Pat Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen. I'm swapping. I'm taking Josh over Burrow. I'm leaving Burrow at 3. You're putting Burrow at 4, and Lamar Jackson at 3. I respect it still because I love both. Both quarterbacks are great. Matthew Stafford at 5. Are you good with him right there?
Yeah, I think I'm fine with that. I really do think, once again, you watched what happened. He leaves the Lions, goes to the Rams, and immediately wins a Super Bowl. That's how valuable Matthew Stafford is.
I think Matthew Stafford is nice. I think he's right where he's supposed to be at number 5. Justin Herbert, I think, is too high. I'm dropping Justin Herbert below CJ Stroud.
Yes, agreed.
I'm putting CJ at 6. He can push Matthew Stafford for 5, but right now I'll leave it at 6 because I need to see it. I need to see it again. Then you have Justin Herbert. If he's at 7, Aaron Rodgers and Justin Herbert. Are you putting Aaron over Justin?
I'm not. Aaron Rodgers is not in my top 10.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh.
I would take. Well, this is what I don't like about these things, I guess. What context? Are we talking about the future? Are we talking about right now?
I would assume this is a right now list.
Okay, right now. Right now, I would take Are
you putting Jordan Love in this list?
I was just going to say, I would take Jordan Love over Aaron Rodgers. I would take Trevor Lawrence over Aaron Rodgers.
Listen, you know you're live, right?
Yeah, I do. I'm talking about as it stands right now.
Okay.
Right now. Now, mind you, Z-Bot from 5 years ago is watching Z-Bot in the present right now saying, what the hell are you talking about? What is this idiot talking about? I think right now, I would not feel comfortable, and this is why I can't understand the comfort in which the Jets fans are currently finding themselves living in. I would not feel comfortable with Aaron Rodgers being my quarterback right now. I just wouldn't. And to me, I don't know how we can put a 40-year-old quarterback coming off a season-ending ACL injury in week 1 as the 8th best quarterback in this league right now.
Interesting. Well, if you're going to go that route, that means you've got Jordan Love, who's not on the list, Trevor Lawrence, not on the list. I mean, I don't know if you have any of those guys there. Then, I mean, Dak Prescott's he's on the list. He's number 10. Jalen Hurts, is he in that top 10? Does he crack that top 10? And then obviously you have your Brock Purdy. I don't know if Brock Purdy's just there yet. And then the rest are kind of Tua Tagovailoa, Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff. I see Jared Goff in this list. Kyler Murray. I mean, the list can go on. But for the most part, between 7 to 10, you can kind of interchange, and a few people can come there. But that top 5 list, I think I'm good on that. I'm good on that top 5 list. And then you can interchange Burrow and Lamar, because I just think Josh Allen is just that dude. I think, and Pat Mahomes is that guy, right? So it is what it is at this point. But let's
interesting, by the way. I just want to say this real quick, because Beth, this is funny. Beth's asking this, and truth be told, until Beth said this just goes to show you why. This just goes to show you how mind-blowing it would be if Tua winds up getting a max contract here. I didn't think about Tua once when we were talking about this. He didn't even enter my mind until Beth said that. When we were talking about other quarterbacks, we would shift in and out here.
Yep.
I didn't even think about Tua Tagovailoa. God's on right hand to God on my mother's life. He didn't even cross my mind.
Well, he's got to have a huge year if he wants to crack that 10 to 12, between 8 and 12, if he wants to get into that. Stay healthy, whip that ball around and get your team ahead of the curve. But we'll see. I mean, it's another topic for another day. But
you didn't say though. Hey, hold on. You didn't really say why you would take Joe Burrow over Lamar Jackson.
I just don't. Lamar Jackson's inconsistencies. That is what that gets me. Right? He's got these moments where he has these big games, and he's got these games where he's throwing for 115 yards, and I'm like, if I need a play for my quarterback, 115 yards. I get it. It's a team game, but fam, you going up against a guy like Josh Allen, you going up against a guy like Pat Mahomes. It's a shootout. You got to be able to, pull that thing back and go. Joe Burrow, he can go toe to toe with the best of them. Lamar Jackson can too, and I love Lamar Jackson. But I don't think he's the passer that Josh is. I don't think he's the passer that Joe Burrow is. He ain't the passer that Pat Mahomes is. This is what it comes down to. It. He's a damn good quarterback, but he ain't the passer that these guys are. And furthermore, fam, the MVP that they gave my guy Lamar Jackson is the same statistics. I'm sure you've seen it. Is the same statistics as Tyrod Taylor had in 2015.
Oh, my take on that. I'm not sitting here arguing that Lamar Jackson.
No, I'm just saying. So I'm not. If you're good, if anybody was gonna say someone was overrated, and it pains me to even say this, of that list, you look at Lamar Jackson and say, man, that guy's overrated. And I don't even believe that. But if you were going to say someone's overrated, I would use Lamar Jackson as the person that say, okay, that guy's overrated, and here's why: X, Y, Z. But
well, that's another thing. That's the other thing. Oftentimes, our takes become victim of circumstance. These guys become victims of circumstances that they're not in control in. Right. So here's an example: Lamar Jackson. Even though I feel like he was not deserving of the MVP last year, at least I shouldn't say that unanimously. Mm-hmm. Right. It was nuts to me. It was absolutely insane to me remember when Stephen A went on and said it was just absolutely disgraceful that there was one vote given to Josh Allen. And we're sitting here like, what? Did Lamar Jackson just have the greatest year in NFL history? Because what the hell are you talking about?
Wild to me.
With that said, however, Lamar Jackson is a victim of winning that second MVP where now, right, you'll say he's overrated. Whereas if he didn't win that last year, there'd be less reason to say he's overrated. Josh Allen, perfect, right there with it with the Chiefs scenario.
There you go.
He's overrated because he can't beat the Chiefs. Lamar Jackson's overrated because he doesn't live up to the 2 MVPs that he has on his shelf when he really probably should only have one.
Well played.
So
well said, too. Signified knows. What's up, bro? He says, amen, Rico. Lamar is a big-time choker. Also, I pray every day that the Dolphins pay Tua 55 to 60 mil. That would be hilarious. That's to be so funny. They're going to pay him. Right? We just don't know how much they're going to pay him.
Listen, once Trevor Lawrence got that bag, it became inevitable to me. It's just a matter of when and how much.
Absolutely. They're going to pay him. And if they don't, for whatever reason, the Dolphins say, we just don't believe you're the guy. Boy, do they set that franchise back. They've set that franchise back.
I think, and this is the problem, Rico, and this is we talked about this. It is the purgatory dilemma at the quarterback position.
It is.
You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You set him back if you move off from Tua because obviously you don't have a replacement. And that replacement, and mind you, Tua is certainly a starting quarterback in this league.
Yes,
Where you lose me is when you get people talking about the top 5, when you get talking about the max contract, when you get talking about building your franchise around him as a Super Bowl contender. That's where you lose me. But I still feel like out of 32 NFL teams, Tua is a starting NFL quarterback. However, when you're talking about the amount of money being paid to a guy and the amount of time in which you're going to lock in on him, that also serves as an issue to the future of the team. Same as it would, just in a different way, rebuilding. If you rebuild, you don't have the quarterback in place, but you have money to allocate to other areas, and you might be able to be better because of that in other spots. Your team goes along that way. If you pay Tua, you just gave Jalen Waddle more money than you're paying Tyreek Hill. When is that buck going to come to an end? When is that bill going to become due with Tyreek Hill and Waddle, and now you're paying Tua? So to me, it's this purgatory where you don't have a quarterback that you can win solely because of, like the Bills do, like the Ravens do, like the Chiefs do. But if you lose them, you aren't confident in your ability to win with anybody else. It is a very tough spot to be in. And honest to God, I'd rather be in like pure shit with the ability to rebuild than I would be in this spot, because I feel like you're locking yourself into mediocrity for a while. And I think that we're going to start seeing that more and more, because no one's ending the trend here. It's just next guy up gets the most money, repeat it.
Miami, like my man Richard said, Miami is in trouble. I know, excuse me, who said that? Somebody said Miami is in trouble, and I totally agree. There you go, Richard. Miami is in trouble because damned if you, damned if you don't. I feel like they're not in Giants territory because buddy, that's Jones
the ultimate example.
He's a bum. They should have never paid him $40 million. What were you guys thinking? I would have did what you said. I'll be shit for a couple until I can get my guy.
And when you watch this Hard Knocks, it becomes even more unfathomable that they paid him when they're in the room. Like, they asked Brian Dable about oh God, I'm blanking. Jane Daniels, thank you.
Oh, Jane Daniels. Okay, yeah.
Yes, they're saying, would you trade up for him? Brian Dable was like instantly. He's like, yes. Oh, I would. Yeah, I forget the exact context, but they were talking about moving up to get him. Is he worth it or whatever? Brian Dable instantly, yes. And I'm thinking to myself, you paid Daniel Jones $40 million to the point where you no longer can re-sign your star player, the only player of any real notoriety on your roster. You didn't re-sign him, let alone you let him walk to your biggest rival,
buddy.
The last thing you want. And now you're talking about a year removed, basically, because he didn't play all of last season, Daniel Jones, because of the injury. Now you're talking about moving up in the draft, and they tried their damnedest, Rico, to do it. They just couldn't find a trade partner.
I'm telling you right now, man, the Giants, I would not be surprised if they come in and they poo-poo the bed. Both Shane and Dable could be like, all right, fam, y'all screwed this up. I don't know what Brandon Beane sent me, but you guys screwed this up, and I need y'all to fix this. And right now, this year, you ain't going to fix it this year. So hopefully they can get out of this year and get a couple wins, because if they go a 3-win season, a 4-win season, bro, you're looking at both those cats and be like, dude, this is a train wreck. But
the worst thing that ever happened to that franchise was beating Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings in the wild card. It gave them a ton of false hope. Everyone, and this is what I don't get. Everyone else knew paying Daniel Jones was insane.
It was
but the guys that are in charge of doing it still do. And the thing is, it's not like there was a ton of upside there, because you're looking at it a year removed, and we're watching on television the guys who made this decision a year later being like, oh, we need to find a way to make a move here. And Joe Shane was labeling it. This is how it was being labeled. It was like, well, because of Daniel Jones' injury. Give me a break. If Josh Allen blew his leg out, you're not going and trading up to 3 to get a quarterback because he's hurt. Are you kidding me?
We ain't buying it. That's for damn sure. So listen, and we might look like a bunch of bozos if Daniel Jones lights it up. Him and Malik Neighbors are absolutely killing the game.
Can't wait to see it.
Oh, I bet you can. I bet you can't. So listen, top 10 list in the books. I mean, that's a good conversation to have. We do want to jump into other topics that we've had for tonight. Folks, if you guys are tuning in for the very first time in this chat, do us a favor, smash that like. If you guys are new here, listen, subscribe to the channel, man. It's gonna be a fun season. We are going to be going live during the season on these very days. So
it's gonna be great.
It's gonna be freaking fun. And then we don't just sit and talk Bills football. We talk NFL football and everything underneath the sun. So it'll be fun. It's Rico and Bot in the afternoon. If you guys don't know, now you know. Next topic. Hey, listen, hit me with that. Well, I guess the Instagram, we kind of hit that topic a little bit with Instagram. But let's jump into, I was going to let you pick a topic, or do you want me to just jump into it?
Well, we haven't touched on the topic that I was referring to.
Let's do it.
So I don't know if you remember, but the last time we were on, or maybe it was the time before that, but within the last couple of sessions here, we had a conversation about Sean McDermott, and we were talking about possibilities surrounding moving off of him if blank happens. And you were giving your piece, I was giving my piece, and it's well known by now that I'm in favor of keeping him unless it's a drastic fall off and a move clearly needs to be made. But we were talking hypotheticals, and of course that could be one. The Bills have an entirely new roster this year. We don't know what to expect, and if it goes out this year and it's just not good, say it's a repeat of last year, but there isn't that mid-season turnaround, you're going to hear me singing a different tune. You're going to hear a lot of people singing a different tune. And I think right now, McDermott does have a bit of fire under his seat to plenty of people. And I think with a lot of people, it's on fire more than others might think as well, just because they haven't been able to get over the proverbial hump, right? So we were talking about, okay, so say that they do move off him. I had made the argument that you have to have a succession plan in place in order for me to feel good about it. If you want to move off Sean McDermott, who I think is easily a top 10 coach in this league, then you better damn well have a solid plan in place to replace him.
I'm looking at it now.
Yes. And you and I were throwing out names, right? We were throwing out names. We were saying, oh, what if Kyle Shanahan leaves the Niners and wants to coach Josh Allen? Or, hey, what if Mike Vrabel, who doesn't have a job right now, wants to go and coach the Bills? Would you be okay with that? And then the name of all names popped up.
And we had a good laugh about this.
We did. But remember what I said? I said, wouldn't it be the most Disney Channel original movie storybook style ending to the Josh Allen saga if the Buffalo Bills win a Super Bowl under the man who ruined our lives for over 2 decades? And that, of course, was Bill Belichick. Well, it just so happened, Rico, after this conversation that we had a couple of weeks ago, that this past week, it was announced that Bill Belichick, as we knew, but it's now being revved up, is in full gear to land a job next season as an NFL head coach. So much so that he is going to be doing a ton of media appearances this year. You are going to see a lot of Bill Belichick this year as he tries to rebrand his image and gear up into getting a new job next year. What came from that was a segment on The Herd. And Colin Cowherd broke down possibilities for Bill Belichick's future coaching position next year, and he had 3 options. The Dallas Cowboys, which makes sense because it feels like Jerry Jones, as we know, isn't getting any younger. He wants another one before his time is up. And if he doesn't get close to it this year, and if he has another outing last year where they get blown out by a first-year starting quarterback in the playoffs, Mike McCarthy's ass could be gone. The other option was the Philadelphia Eagles. Nick Sirianni, I thought he was going to lose his job after this past year, the way things went. A lot of other people did too. They wound up sticking with him. Maybe he could go there.
Yeah.
And the third option, Rico?
No way. Don't say it.
Was the Buffalo Bills.
No freaking way.
And there you see it.
Hey.
And the quote on the screen reads as follows. Quote, you don't think he wants to face the Patriots twice a year and rub it in Robert Kraft's face? That's courtesy of Colin Cowherd. I'll tell you this. If things go south, and
why are you so happy? Why you glee? I feel like there's a joy in you.
It's not joy. It is pure. like it's almost like living in the Twilight Zone where you just looking at that photo right there of Bill Belichick photoshopped in the Bills gear. Because we talked about this. Remember, we said, imagine looking at Bill Belichick on the sideline in Bills gear, how that would be. We literally talked about this, and you're looking at it here. Look at this. Look at this. That's why
look at that.
That's why you're getting that vibe from me. I'm looking at this, and I feel like I'm living in La La Land right now. That's even a thought. But let's just talk about it for a second here, Rico. Let's say that this year, whole new team for the most part for these Bills. Didn't look great last year. They turned it around, made us forget about it. But say not good this year. Say it's the worst year that they've had under Josh Allen. And Pagula finally says, you know what? We know what we have here, and we're running out of time to capitalize on it. And we loved what you had for us here over your time, Sean McDermott. You were phenomenal for us. It's basically, it's not you, it's me type thing. We need to go out and see what else is out there.
Right.
When you think about it, Rico, it's kind of sickening how much sense it would make for Bill Belichick to want that job. And when it comes to candidates to be able to take that job, it's hard to think about an option that would be more considered than this one. And when you're thinking about what he would want to do, that's what gets me the most. If you're thinking about what Bill Belichick would want to do, I can't think of an option that he would want to take more than coaching the Buffalo Bills.
That is something. I'll be real with you, man. I didn't expect to see that. When you said, "Hey, I sent you some of your DMs," I was like, "Yeah, I'm looking for it." And I finally find it, and I was like, "Oh, I see what you're saying." Listen, it's a results-driven business. We both know it. Execs know it. Owners know it, and coaches know it. At the end of the day, fans know it. You've got to deliver, because that's why we pay the big bucks to buy those jerseys, the hoodies, those stupid Zuba pants, and all that stuff to support the team. You gotta win. You gotta give us an opportunity to watch our team lift that Lombardi. And if the same results happen again with Coach McDermott, which I like a lot, bro, you got to make something happen, because at the end of the day, what was really important in New England was Tom Brady. Nobody gave a damn about Bill Belichick. It was about Tom Brady. So what's really important in Buffalo is Josh Allen. And if you are, some folks want to say, wasting Josh Allen away, then get someone in there that won't. And I'm hoping that McDermott is the guy that gets it all done and let's roll. But bro, if he doesn't get it done, it's the same damn results. Something's got to give. And if this something has to give, and it's this, and Bill Belichick is just, look at that stupid mean mug, which we might end up probably embracing.
We would fall in love with it. We would fall in love with it in 10 seconds. That's what makes me sick to my stomach. It's like this with anything. Like if Gronk would have came to the Bills instead of going to the Bucs when he did, we would have loved Gronk. If we didn't have Josh Allen and Brady left the Patriots and didn't go to the Bucs and went to the Bills, we would have loved him. I mean, that's just the way it is, right? But here, this isn't so much about we're not sitting here talking about, Sean McDermott should get fired, this and that. This is more so coming down to talking out a hypothetical that many people think could come to fruition, and that's Sean McDermott not being the coach of this team. I don't foresee it. I don't really see, unless there's a catastrophic collapse, I don't see Sean McDermott losing his job. But other people feel much differently about this. There are plenty of people who feel like another just okay season from McDermott next year, and he's gone. I mean, Rico, you are pretty much in the boat. If he doesn't get to the Super Bowl, you think it's time to maybe make a move, right?
I said we got to really, really consider, like, same results, bro. You got to go.
So it's out there.
It's out there.
What I'm getting at is when it comes to trying to make sense of what Bill Belichick would want to do, it doesn't make any more sense than being in Buffalo. Think about all the things that add up here. He's lived in the Northeast his entire life. Buffalo is not all that far from where he resides out in, I think, the Rhode Island area. Not all that far. He stays on the Northeast. It's a defensive-oriented culture. The Bills have always been a defensive-oriented team. Even though they have Josh Allen, that defense has still been stout each and every year underneath of him. I personally think Sean McDermott has a lot to do with that. But then again, Bill Belichick might be the greatest defensive mind that this league has ever seen. So I have to imagine that the defense of the Bills would still be stout. We can't say that the Patriots defense weren't good the last several seasons Without Brady, their offense was just historically bad, and there was no way they were going to be able to sustain success with that. So the defense would be fine. As you mentioned, when he has a great quarterback, there's no one that's ever been a greater coach in sports than what Bill Belichick was. The reason that it died off so badly is because of the Mac Jones experiment. The other thing, too, is you have one of the best general managers in the league. Bill Belichick has now learned that he's not going to have the power in which he had in New England to be able to make these draft moves. Sure, he'll have some say and stuff. You're not replacing Brandon Beane. Therefore, the moves in the offseason, the moves on the draft board aren't going to be made by Bill Belichick like they were in the latter stages of his career in New England, which wound up being a disaster. The moves are going to be made by Brandon Beane, who's done a hell of a job constructing the new wave of the Buffalo Bills. Everything adds up, not to mention Bill Belichick would have a major chip on his shoulder. Not only is he chasing Don Shula's record for the most wins, but as Colin Cowherd mentioned, and I think this goes above all of them, you get to stick it up Robert Kraft's craw twice a year with one of the best quarterbacks in the league and have a legitimate chance to win one, Rico. Everything adds up, and it's almost terrifying.
Buddy, and here's listen, I just want you, just picture this for a quick second, okay? Just picture it just a little bit. All right. Okay. Belichick walking out. New Bill Stadium.
Allen right behind him. Keon Coleman becomes like the next Jerry Rice. He's right behind him.
Not even that. Not only that, this music is playing, and all of a sudden you got Allen behind him. You got Dable back in Buffalo. Oh, shit. Bro, game over. Game
That's
over.
actually something I didn't think about. That's another one, too, because Dable's clock could be the entirety of the front office could be clicking in New York. That also could be another possibility. But what I wanted to kind of talk about here, just because it had been announced this past week that there's going to be a major push towards Bill Belichick becoming a head coach again next year. When I just sat and looked at, it being discussed about him going to the Bills, when you sit back and think about all the reasons it makes sense for him, it's
for him.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane.
And guess what? Pagula's at the end. He's at a point where like, he's got to be like, okay, we got to win. We got to win now. Like I said, I've said it too often. I've said it many times, bro. When you sit here and you lose to Pat Mahomes 3 straight times, you're not trying to have it the 4th straight time. Something's got to give. But anyway, I love how we ended that segment with I had to hit that Goldberg, him walking on. You're an asshole for saying, and Josh Allen right behind him. you got.
I mean, I got to tell you, there's some like to name the Kanye album, Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. There's something real effed up about that. But there's something real satisfying about it too. I don't know how to describe it.
I'm just saying. So, listen. Last week I had a show, and there was a question that I asked the crowd and the chat. I found that it was split down the middle, and I don't know if you remember this, but they asked Josh Allen, "Hey man, if your Bills could win a Super Bowl, would you let it happen? Would you sacrifice yourself by not being on the team and retiring if it meant that the Bills win a Super Bowl?" And I asked the chat, how would y'all feel about that? Mitch Trubisky raising the Lombardi, but really we want Josh Allen to be raising that Lombardi. But Josh Allen has sacrificed himself and says, I'll retire and let the Bills win one. That's how much I want him to win. Then some folks were like, so I made the ultimatum. Would you rather 10 more years of watching Josh Allen potentially win the Super Bowl, or a guaranteed win of a Super Bowl, but he's retired and it's Mitch Trubisky or whoever the hell the quarterback is raising that Lombardi? What would you rather?
Oh, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit who raises it.
Got it.
Come on.
Got it. No, it's good.
Would it make me sick? When it comes to these weird scenarios, you know what makes me the most sick? Is you ever think about Josh Allen winning one with another team?
So why would you do that? Why would you go there?
See, that one to me, that's the most effed up one I think I've ever thought of. Think about that. You ever given that a good thought?
No, because I'm already at the thought. I'm at that spot where I'm like, yo, he's 27. Yo, time flies quickly. And all of a sudden he's going to be 32. And you're like, shit, bro, we got to start looking for, I even hate to even bring that up, but that's why it's so, the urgency to win one now is so high. Get it done. And we've been so close, but yet so far away at the same time. It's wild. So it's got to get done. That's why this is a crucial year. This is a very crucial year. And it's so crucial that we're experimenting with Goldberg theme music, Belichick with the hoodie / big puff jacket. Brian Dable gets fired from the Giants because him and Daniel Jones can't wait it. He comes back to Buffalo with his boy Josh. Bro.
I mean, and there's people in here like Rich saying that I want this. No, don't get it twisted. It's not what I want.
Are you kidding me?
But I'm telling you, I don't know how you can't find it intriguing playing that movie in your mind. I don't know how you can't find that intriguing.
It's fun. Richard Forbes is like, stop.
It would be one of the most insane stories of all time to me if Bill Belichick wound up coaching the Bills. I mean, it would be. I'm at a loss for it. I wouldn't even know. Like if that say the day comes, I don't even know what I would do. I don't even know how I would feel. There's something so chaotic about it, so intriguing about it to me that it's almost overwhelming.
It's facts. Big facts.
You know what I mean? Like how you can't describe the feeling it gives you.
Nah, because it gave me a kind of a weird feeling. So I was like,
because you can't hate it because there's two sides of the coin. You hate Bill Belichick for him being the coach of the dynasty that, I mean, let's face it. They were barely the shit on the bottom of the Patriots shoe. The Bills were during that dynasty.
True.
I mean, it was just 2 free wins every year. That's what it was. The Bills were 2 bye weeks for Bill Belichick and Tom Brady year after year.
Pathetic, isn't it?
Pathetic. But then you get the greatest coach in NFL history to come with Josh Allen. I mean, it's effed up, man. It's effed up.
It is. But this is business. At the end of the day, it comes down to it's business. It's business. And none of these Bills fans will give a damn if the Bills win it, if we have another coach. And what's my man 445 Block say? He said, yo, Zeke up and smoking crack again. Rico, get this man a rehab, man. He been walking down Jefferson scratching. Listen, man, he's just fine.
Listen, win a Super Bowl. The only rehab for me, 445 Block, win a damn ball. That's the only antidote. It's like I got a fever. I got a fever. And the only medicine is a bowl.
That's it,
right?
You're not lying. I don't know how you can't find it interesting. I don't That I don't know. It's like I said, it's overwhelming to me. It makes me feel weird. It's conversation, but guess what? All that conversation will go out the window next week because we're back in training camp. We can start.
You know what? So perfectly said, Rico. Thank God.
I'm telling you, we are back with training camp. Training camp is next week, bro.
Thank God.
Let me tell you something. I got to talking last week, and I was talking about doubling up, and you want a sequel in performances by certain players on the squad, right? Sometimes the sequel is terrible, and sometimes the sequel is really good. You know what I mean? Part 2 or the second move is usually pretty good. I'm looking for a bomb sequel from a couple players on the squad. I shared my thoughts last week. Is there anybody on this squad, offense or defense, of who you feel like, all right, I'm ready for that sequel and I'm ready for it to be bomb? Are there any players on the squad? I had 3 last week, and I'll tell you who my 3 were. And if you want to double down, go ahead and double down on that.
Wait, let me give you mine first. Let's see if we had the same ones.
Bomb, let's roll.
For me, the instant answer is Dalton Kincaid. Instant answer.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, right?
Like
because we saw the glimpses. We know what the capabilities can be, and we now know the role is going to be inevitably much larger. We are going to see this year what Dalton Kincaid's really made of. We've heard we've heard how good the potential is. We saw glimpses of what it could be. But let's face it, he wasn't utilized as much as maybe he should have been or could have been last year.
Right.
That ain't going to be a luxury the Bills are going to have this year. Dalton Kincaid, you could argue right now, I don't even know how much of an argument it is their best option in the pass game right now. He is going to get a significant amount more targets this year. Dalton Kincaid, very much, in my opinion, the one guy I'm looking forward most to seeing the progression this year. Khalil Shakir would be the second answer for me, no doubt about it, right? Khalil Shakir to me, he's the only real wide receiver you're bringing back that you could of any note, right? And we have guys now on this roster that are either new from other teams or rookies that are going to have time to develop into what we're hoping they're going to be. Now, of course, Curtis Samuel, as Zerfs is mentioning here, a guy that I'm high on. I think he's going to have a great year this year. But Khalil Shakir is one of those guys that even last year, the first half of the year, you didn't even know what the hell was going on with Khalil Shakir. It wasn't until the second half of the year where you're saying, man, this guy makes a play every time he gets a chance. Anytime the ball was thrown to Khalil Shakir, he made a play. Probably the most sure hands on the team last year. And once again, same argument I just made for Dalton Kincaid, I'll make for Khalil Shakir. Yep. Those targets are going way up. And then number 3 for me, it's got to be James Cook for the same reasons I just mentioned. James Cook, to me, showed us last year that these Buffalo, and mind you, this is behind the Buffalo Bills offensive line, who easily had their best year last year while Josh Allen was the quarterback.
Love it.
But James Cook last year proved that the Buffalo Bills are more than just a Josh Allen-centric offense. This offense last year went through James Cook almost as much as it went through Josh Allen once Joe Brady took over. And I think you're going to see that from the jump this coming season. You're going to see these Bills run the ball as much as they did towards the middle half of the year and beyond. And I think you're going to see him get incorporated much more into the pass game, because I think it's going to be a collective effort to try to replace the production that the Bills got from Stephon Diggs and Gabriel Davis. James Cook's going to be a major part of that. So all 3 of those guys, to me, they share one common element, and it's that they're all going to be relied upon far more this year than they ever have been, and they're going to be needed in order for this team to succeed. If those 3 guys do not have a good year this coming year, it's hard to imagine that the Bills are successful. So those 3 guys right there for me, Rico, easily the 3 guys I can't wait to see the sequel of here coming up this next season.
Great choices. So we are aligned in one of your 3. So James Cook was on my list. I needed James Cook. Had a sneaky solid year last year, over 1,100 yards last year. His production wasn't as great in the touchdown department, but overall was a solid back in his second year. I'm looking forward to massive dividends from my guy, James Cook, this year. He's grown on me. I'm all in on James Cook to have a massive year. I need him to have a back-to-back big year. James Cook, you and I are aligned in that. I went with Ed Oliver. Ed Oliver, I need a big year again from Ed Oliver. He was just shy of double-digit sacks. He had 9.5 sacks. If DaQuan Jones being back, Von Miller gives us something more than what he gave us last year. And you have, the collective group of, Rousseau, Epinesa, and we really get after it. Dude, we need a massive year for my guy, Ed Oliver. Ed Oliver giving us if he doubles up and gives us a back-to-back year, and this time he reaches the 10 sacks, double digits, and he's in the backfield, 16 tackles for a loss he had last year, I believe, and he just increases that. That'll be huge for this defense. So I need him to double up. Second for me was Mr. Bernard, Terrell Bernard.
I knew that was going to be that's such a good choice.
Oh, man, I can't wait I'm so excited for that linebacker crew. A healthy Matt Milano, a healthy Bernard together all year round is going to be absolutely berserk. So if Ed Oliver does what he's supposed to do, DaQuan Jones does what he's supposed to do, this linebacking crew is going to eat. They're going to eat. And that back end, what I'm saying, with some young guys that are trying to get to, get in their roles, bro, we could have an underrated, defense, because I'm not expecting a whole lot, but I know McDermott, and McDermott will always have these guys prepared. So I'm looking forward to that. So those are the 3 double ups. But I love your choices. Your choices are fantastic as well. Shakir, we're everyone's waiting with bated breath with what Shakir's going to do this year, especially with Diggs being gone. Diggs gone, Shakir steps up with Keon Coleman. He's the most tenured guy in the receiving room.
I'm shocked you didn't have him on your list, because I know how high you and Pierre are on him. I'm shocked you didn't have him, but I like your choices as well, especially Terrell Bernard. He would easily be my 3B there. I mean, I cannot wait to see him back, especially and cross your fingers with a healthy Matt Milano. It could be scary.
I'm a big fan. James Cook needs that CJ Spiller big year in Buffalo. Yo, if he gives us that 1 year CJ Spiller gave us, because everybody knows that 1 year CJ Spiller gave us, that was it. And that was after that, he was just overrated. That guy, I don't want to get into CJ Spiller, man. He's such a water bug. That was coming from our GM. Water bug. We had Marshawn Lynch and then went and drafted another running back. And CJ Spiller, don't get me started on that Clemson running back. Anyway, that being said, those are my three that I'm looking forward to. But yours are great choices, man. Solid choices.
And you got to think, as long as that O-line does what they did last year, I can't imagine why James Cook wouldn't have another terrific year. I mean, that's really what it all came down to. It was great O-line play last year.
Listen, Pierre says great choices. This team is actually stacked. Is Pierre being a homer in this, or is he actually onto something with this team being stacked?
Stacked in all caps is where Pierre's unfortunate homerism is showing its head. But I think what the better way to phrase it would be sneaky, in a sense that you can't say the Bills are sneaky because they're on everybody's radar, and they have been, always will be with Josh Allen.
Of course.
But they're sneakily better than the perceived low-hanging fruit of, they lost Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs, therefore they're going to suck. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
When you look at it, there's areas and guys on this team that aren't very well known that, if they do well, very easily could lead to Bill's success.
Listen, man, you're on it, man, because I made a comment last week and it sounded wild that somebody had to check. I think it was Walter. And I said, yeah, but we got younger receivers, so we should be looking good. He's like, no, we didn't. Actually, we got older at receiver. And I was like, you're not wrong. We didn't get younger. Curtis Samuel, he's not a young buck. He's older. You bring in Mac Hollins, older receiver. Who am I thinking? I'm thinking of one more guy that we brought in. Chase Claypool, an older guy. I mean, he's not old, but Scantling. These guys are not young guys. They've been in the game sometime.
I just want one of those guys, Rico. One of those guys to have like a jackpot type season. You took some flyers on some guy, right? Like you say, all these guys are scratch offs. I'm just hoping one of these guys cashes in. You took a flyer on a bunch of these guys that are known names, but are either hitting a rough patch, or in a rough patch, or are just getting old, like Curtis Samuel. If one of these guys can hit, if Keon Coleman comes out and looks like a first-round draft pick, if Dalton Kincaid takes that next step, and that's a terrific year, if James Cook, another 1,000-yard year, and if Josh Allen does Josh Allen things, this team's right there. And at the end of the day, Rico, once again, all it comes down to is you just got to get in the dance. Easier said than done, of course, in the AFC. But we know how irrelevant the regular season is. Bills looked like dog shit in the regular season for half the year last year, a play away from being in the AFC Championship last year. The Chiefs were abysmal in multiple games last year in the regular season, won the Super Bowl. So the Bills just have to be good enough to get to the dance, and we'll see from there. My biggest key above anything, it's just health on the defense. Health on the defense. If that defense is healthy going into the playoffs, could be a different story than we saw last year for sure.
Listen, I'm with you. This is one of those situations where you look at this team and you look at who we have on the squad and who I want stepping up. Believe it or not, man, but I'm looking at Coleman, Samuel, Shakir, Scantling, Hollins, Claypool. You want Coleman to really be that guy, but I think he's gonna have some struggles this year. I personally do. But he will eventually get to where he needs to. It's the easy one, Shakir. I want Shakir to blow up and have a huge year. Underratedly, I'm looking at Chase Claypool as well. If Chase can make a name for himself and really latch on and reinvent himself. I mean, we talked about that. We talked about this at length. When he's had his solid years, he was being thrown to by a damn good quarterback in Ben Roethlisberger. Guess what? He's with a damn good quarterback in Josh Allen. So we should be able to see and reap the benefits of gaining a motivated Chase Claypool. But all eyes are on Shakir. Shakir, you got to step up. You're the guy right now, bro. You're the guy. And there was a wild stat that was put out there. My man Bobby put it out there. I think it was on Twitter. I can't remember it all. But they compared Shakir and the measurables of Shakir and Stephon Diggs. in terms of the 40 times speed, all that stuff. And they're neck and neck, with Shakir having a slight edge on a few of the tangibles, like your speed and so on and so forth. So, bro, he could have a massive year. So I'm looking forward very much to our guy, Khalil Shakir. Shall we move on to the next topic, sir?
Do it.
Next topic. This might be a short one. Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless. Finally, Fox just had enough. They said, bro, you're dying. You're dying a slow death on TV, and I can't do this to you. So what they've done is they've taken him out back, and they said, Skip, there's a bouquet of flowers on the table. I want you to look at the flowers. Just look at the flowers. Look at the flowers. If you guys know what reference I'm making, you guys are true heroes of mine. Look at the flowers, and pow, it's over with. They put an end to our guy, Skip Bayless. And you know who wins in all of this? Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe wins in all of this because you let him go. There was a big fiasco, and you felt that you were too big for this dude, and so on and so forth. And now he's winning. Club Shay Shay is hitting. He got renewed with ESPN. He's got a bigger role with ESPN now. Bro, he is winning. And Skip had Lil Wayne. What? That little gremlin, you brought that little gremlin on the show for what? For what reason? To try to get the black folks to come watch your show? No. And ain't nobody messing with Lil Wayne like that. I certainly am not. And then you want him to get him to talk sports on top of that? Boy, please. That's number one. And then you get in bringing in Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman checked your ass the first time. You took a risk by bringing Richard Sherman on, and it hasn't been what it was. He was checking you real early, wasn't giving you a chance to talk because he's like, yo, you ain't gonna disrespect me like you did shit. Bro, they came on the show ready to get on Skip's ass. And then you bring in, and I listen, I'm a big fan of Keyshawn. Keyshawn was great. You bring Keyshawn Johnson on there, he's fantastic, right? And he's got a head on his shoulders. I love that they brought that in there. And then things had to shuffle. And then you bring in that bum Paul Pierce. Bro, when you bring in Paul Pierce to be on the panel with you, game over. I don't want to hear nothing else. Paul Pierce is terrible. I didn't like him as a ball player. I didn't like him on Boston. Maybe I'm a hater because I'm a Laker guy. But I want nothing to do with this guy on the court, nor that I wanted to see him on TV. And he was awful. This guy dropping the N-word on there like he's in that. Bro, you on national TV, my guy. And you got old man Skip Bayless right next to you, and you dropping N-word. Bro, Skip was so utterly embarrassed. He was like, this is the end of it. This is how I'm going out on my sword. I went on my sword with these fools. Oh, bro. Skip Bayless out. Here's the real question, though. Where does he go? Apparently, ESPN's like, bro, we good over here. We ain't want nothing to do with Skip. So, where's he going? What do you think? Does he go anywhere?
I'm reading. I can't. Is he just his contract's up? So they're just not renewing it. It's not like he's being fired. Like he's leaving. They're not. They don't want to renew it, type of thing.
It's a wrap. Whether you want to call it, we're not renewing. We're not this. It's saying politely, it's been a good run. It's a wrap. Skip Bayless, when that whole fiasco happened with him and Shannon, it was over with. That was the entertainment. The entertainment was Shannon Sharpe with all his parables from his grandmother and all that stuff. Once that was out, bro, that show was dry as a mug. They liked it for the first 2 weeks because it was something new. But once it got played out, and Stephen A kept on telling you, yo, number one for 12 years straight. Number one for 12 years straight. He never stopped letting us know he's number one for 12 years straight. He's that dude. And I can't. Skip has got to be sitting here going, I made these dudes. Ain't that the worst? When you make these cats and now they're blowing up and now you're like, damn, I should have just, played the role, I should have just been Pippen. But he didn't want to be that. He wanted to be the dude. Well, guess what? You're the dude now. Who in the NBA would you say wanted to be the guy and then he shoot everybody away and it was awful for him? You can't say about Kobe. You can't say about Shaq because they both had success on their own. So
you mean a player?
A player. Let's skip right now. You shoot away. I mean, I can't say you shoot away Stephen A. You guys just contract wise, it was, but y'all split. If you guys really want to stay together, you guys got to figure it out. And then Skip happens, and then this whole thing happens. Who was it? I can't think of anybody that kind of shoot it. They wanted to be the guy. I was gonna say McGrady, but he didn't shoo anybody away. But he was still pretty solid.
I mean, Carmelo, you could argue, never really went and took advantage of.
Kyrie Irving, maybe.
Maybe.
Another one to New York. He had some success.
Kyrie still won one with LeBron and Cleveland.
I can't think of anybody.
I mean, Carmelo to me is always going to be the one guy that was. I mean, growing up, Carmelo was always in those talks. And
there's one. You move Shady. You move all these people. You move all these players that are doing this. That's a perfect one, man. Chip Kelly ruined himself, man. You should have kept those guys together because that was special. You had that Eagles team rolling. And now look at you, Chip. I don't know where Chip is. Where Chip at? I don't even know where he's at. He's somewhere in college.
Kelly?
I mean, you're playing NCAA.
Shit, I don't even know. I'll say though, this affects me zero. I'll be honest. I've never once. By the way, I just looked up. Chip Kelly's the OC for Ohio State this year. I didn't even know that. Offensive coordinator.
Boom. OC.
I've never once watched a full episode of anything with Shannon Sharpe, or excuse me, with Skip Bayless. Never once.
Really?
Never have. Never once. These
my turn.
Well, I've seen the clips. Believe me. Anything I've ever seen from, and this goes the same for Stephen A. Anything I've ever seen from these guys are clips on the internet. I cannot sit and watch. I can't watch it. That to me isn't. I like actual sports television. I love Dan Patrick.
Yep.
I know Colin Cowherd's considered. I feel like people consider Cowherd to be more in the realm of like Bayless and Stephen A. I don't know why. Sure, he's opinionated, but it's not outlandish.
He's more like Jim Rome. I feel like he's more like Jim Rome.
I like Rome too. I'm not a huge Rome guy, but I like Rome. I love Jim Rome as Burning growing up. That was just 30 minutes of Jim Rome laying it out. But it always felt like there wasn't any bias involved. He just had strong opinions. There's a lot of bias involved with Skip Bayless, and there always has been. I think that got old. The bias with the Cowboys.
Yeah, it gets old.
LeBron, Jordan. Yeah, like it does get old. You're right. And essentially, you have to enjoy these guys getting on air and basically yelling at each other for 3 hours. And I've never liked that. And I think that
you don't like the debate style.
No, I've never liked it because to me, it's never been, I never get anything from it. It's never really, it's never progressing my knowledge, or it's never like, we're never talking about the topic in a way that's like coherent. It's more so like, I stand on this one take no matter what, and I'm going to defend it to the earth, even if it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like that's always, been what it's been. So these shows have never done it for me. But I wonder, Rico, if that era is kind of dying out, because Stephen A. isn't getting any younger, and Skip certainly isn't either. There really isn't any younger guy. People will say Nick Wright, but Nick Wright isn't like a shock jock. I mean, yeah, he'll have his moments with Josh Allen or whatever, but Nick Wright knows his stuff.
He's great, man.
He really is. Nick Wright is really good when he's not. It's 90% he's good, 10% when he's doing his troll shit with Josh Allen, or he's hyping up the Chiefs or whatever. These other shows, Skip's in particular, it was like 90% the troll job. That's what it was centered around. At least that's what it felt like.
Okay.
And I don't really see the predecessor to that. I'm wondering if that's dying out. You have so many people now that are watching stuff like us, and it's not like we don't have an audience like, of course, ESPN does. But what I'm saying is, people will watch us, then they'll go to somebody else's YouTube channel, then they'll go to another podcast, and they'll go to another YouTube channel. And I wonder if the culmination of all of that, when you do a little bit of us, you do a little bit of people over here, a little bit of people over there. I wonder if that has kind of taken up the market share of, oh, you know what? I'm not going to sit and watch Skip Bayless yell at Paul Pierce for 3 hours. So when you're asking me where he's going to go, ESPN said they don't want him. There really isn't anything like this on CBS that I'm aware of that anybody's going to be clamoring to want to watch. I'm wondering if it's just time to hang it up and maybe he goes and does the podcast route. I don't know why in this day and age, at least, that's not what he would want to do. Go own your own thing. And the diehard Skip Bayless fans that are out there will watch him, subscribe to him, and he can own 100% of what he's doing, not have to answer to anybody else and worry about this. I think that's the best bet for him because I don't really know what else is coming out of this. I just feel like that era of shows, it just seems to be something that kind of people don't like anymore. Yeah.
So what is the new vibe then? Is the new vibe just talking sports all Joe and having some great takes and then calling a day? I mean, you're going to have to sprinkle in some controversy. You're going to have to get into the debate here and there to make it a debate-centric show. Maybe it might be a little too much, but I mean, First Take is doing great. They got topics they hit. They debate a little bit. It's entertaining at the same time. The problem with Skip Bayless is it wasn't entertaining anymore. He didn't know how to pivot. He didn't know how to transition and try to, and this is the hard part. Trying to, we don't have an attention span anymore. People these days don't have the attention span anymore, bro. We watch 5 minutes, we're like, bro, get out of here with that. We done. It's very difficult. You gotta learn to like, hey, what are people liking now these days? All right, we gotta start doing this. We gotta start doing that. So First Take has done a pretty damn good job. He's gotten all the talent. Everybody wants to see what Orlovsky's gonna say. I love Orlovsky. Orlovsky's fantastic. If I see Orlovsky talking some football, he gonna get in that, right? Stephen A's great. He's about to get paid yet again, $255 million. Golly, that's
right.
Oh, he's getting paid. He's gonna get a contract extension. He was getting paid. He's the number one guy on TV right now. You guys don't want to call it that way, but he is.
But he always has been, though. Well, whether I always respected Stephen A. I would never watch Stephen A. for like sports knowledge, but I've always respected what he was because he's always you can't. Stephen A. will be an icon of sports till the end of time. Like when I talk about my grandkids, like Stephen A. will be like, oh, he was the guy. Like he's the guy. Stephen A. is synonymous with sports broadcasting. And even people like me who don't watch him at all or aren't gigantic fans, you still have a ton of respect for Stephen A. because no one's done it like him. That's for sure. And I've always felt like Skip Bayless lived in his shadow, like to the point of, almost irrelevancy at times. Like it would be so much more predicated. When you think about these type of guys, Stephen A. is the first person you think of. You don't think of Skip. But I don't know. I think there's so many options now, Rico. Like you said, our attention span is nothing. I can go and get exactly what I want when I want it. So why would I settle for, another hour of talking about the Cowboys or another hour of talking about LeBron versus Jordan when I don't have to? Maybe that's what it's coming down to.
Hey, listen, it gets to that. You just said it, man. And Pierre says, if it doesn't grab me on the first swipe, I'm out. Next. I'll move on to the next one. So that's why you got to stay relevant. You got to stay talking about things that people talk about and then put your own flair on it. That's why Rico and Bot in the afternoon might be, that show for now until people get bored of us. And then we got to pivot.
Well, that's why McAfee has had such success because it was different. It's like a variety hour. It's essentially and I like this vibe. Dan Patrick is very much like this. Like 1 minute you can be watching, you can listen to Dan Patrick, and 1 minute we're talking about, the history of the NFL, and the next minute they could be having a full blown discussion about
peach cobbler.
Like exactly, like things that we like to do. We like to do. Right. I like Absolutely. That. That's not what those shows are. Those shows are I don't want to say scripted, but there's blocks. Every block in the show is dedicated to we have to debate this. I like free flowing.
Got to.
Yeah, I like we can just talk about whatever, and it's centered around sports. That to me is my favorite.
Well, listen. Speaking of your favorite, Caitlin Clark, 19 dimes the other night.
WNBA record.
Hold on. Let me time out. Let's talk about this real quick. All right. The WNBA has been around since when did it get? When did we start? The
late WNBA? 90s, I think.
When was the WNBA founded?
Late 90s.
I got to look this up because I bring this up for a reason, right? Because there's been some great 1998. April 24th, 1996, they announced that they got next. Remember that whole "we got next"? That was the big movement. What year were you born? But
97.
Oh God, you don't know anything about that. All right, this is where I can come in.
Yeah, let me hear it.
You're a young buck. So there was a whole movement when women's basketball was coming in, and the whole thing was, "Yo, we got next. We got next. We got next." It was like, "Yo, shit, yo, this women's, yo, this is gonna be sick." There's a thing that my cousin and I and my brother used to do. We used to do this thing where. Like when we played Madden, we call players mine, right? And how that essentially works is, let's just say we'll use it today's game. I'll say, oh, by the way, Josh Jacobs, mine. So what does that mean? So when we did franchises, when we played on Sega Genesis at the time, we played franchises. He's not allowed to touch that player. That's my player. So if I want to trade for him, he's mine. So then when we thought that, oh shoot, WNBA, they're gonna come out with a WNBA game, it's gonna be sick. So we're like, Cheryl Swoops, mine. Rebecca Lobo, mine. You don't know any of these players, but like these were some iconic players. Lisa Leslie, got it. What, 96? That's over 25 years, bro. 19. You mean to tell me there's 25 years of ball and Caitlin Clark, the rookie, comes in and gives you 19 dimes? Bro, there were some iconic players back then. What the hell talent was out there in the WNBA?
Dude.
You got Angel Reese. She had like 10 games straight of double.
She broke the streak.
Where were the other girls doing all this stuff? Like, I guess it's the new talent. There's these girls are just built different these days. I don't know. The game has changed. I don't get it, man. But these girls are rocking it. They got people paying attention.
Yeah,
19 dimes in the game, bro. Good on those two girls for really getting this thing going, man. Because now they got the eyes on the WNBA. And I hope your jersey, if you're gonna get another jersey, I don't know if you are or not, but Angel Reese might be another one that you need to get. Every
show you watch now, there's a topic on the WNBA every day, no matter what, whether it's in the beginning, the middle, and end, small, big, large, whatever in the middle. There is a topic about the WNBA almost every day. It's awesome. Like, good for them. I mean, seriously, the Caitlin Clark is going to be looked back on as one of the most transcending athletes of my lifetime. I mean, this is truly something. We're watching it in real time. One player in conjunction with other players surrounding her, Angel Reese being one of them, that have truly elevated a sport. I mean, that's rare to see. It's really rare to see. And, it's not the most spectacular thing in the world to everyone, because there's still plenty of people who aren't going to be bought into the WNBA. But you're nuts if you're in that camp and you still can't understand how far things have come within a year here. I have watched and listened to sports talk every day of my life for at least the last decade. I'm talking every day in some capacity. I could count on one hand the amount of times I ever heard the WNBA even mentioned at all. And there had to be something crazy that happened. I'm talking like, I don't know, the only time in my life, truly, the only time in my life that I can remember prominent women's basketball being discussed was, of course, the Gino Auriemma UConn days, the 81 straight games won or whatever. I was obsessed with that. I thought it was insane that any team of any capacity, especially one in a Power 5 conference, in a game much less like basketball, where sometimes like another team just gets hot and you lose. Yep. That was insane to me. But other than that, I mean, we've never seen anything quite like this. And it's truly something. And you're watching it be backed up too. Like Caitlin Clark comes into the league, most talked about touted player in the history of the sport. And like you just mentioned, we got a 25-year history here, and she's the first person ever halfway into her freshman year or her rookie year here, dropping 19 dimes in a game.
Record. And listen, good on the game. This is what you want. But golly, man, it took some time, man. It took some time. Let's kind of stay a little bit on basketball before we kind of close out with our last topic. Listen, Bronny James, real quick. Fair criticism? Is he getting blasted unfairly? Is it warranted? Listen,
this is what I think we had discussed when this first happened. You understood the acceptance of the nepotism here. I understood it. LeBron James, no one's done more for maybe sports in the last 20 years than LeBron James. He's been the most famous athlete on the planet for about as long as I've been alive. I think he's deserving of having his son be drafted to the team he's on in the latter stages of his career, if that's truly what he wants. But I wondered if that's what Bronny wanted. I wondered if that's what was best for Bronny. And I'd argue, at least to that point, that the answer would be no. Because I think everybody knows right now that Bronny James would not be on an NBA roster, much less a draft pick, if it weren't for him being the son of LeBron James. And we know that as it stands right now, he is just not an NBA caliber player. He was hardly a Division I basketball caliber player a season ago at USC. And this is where my problem is that it's unfair that he has the microscope over him and that he's going to get the criticism that he's going to get. But This is what you signed up for. If you want to be drafted by the LA Lakers and your dad is the most famous person in the sport and you're going to be living in that shadow, meaning your dad is talked about every single day to some capacity on every sports network in existence, you are now the additional reason to continue to talk about him even more so. So the reason why I felt like this wasn't the best decision for him is he wasn't really ready yet to be an NBA player, and now he's going to be criticized like he is that caliber of player when everybody knows that he isn't. It really just isn't fair, but ultimately it's the result of the decision made, and the decision made was to forego playing in college and go straight to the NBA here. Unfortunately, it's the bet that's been made, and you got to lie in it. I wonder, all you can hope is for him, it's somewhat inspiration to continue to get better, but you just have to wonder if I wonder more than anything, Rico, once LeBron hangs it up, like how much more is Bronny James talked about? That's what I wonder. I just feel like right now it's hope.
You hope that's what you hope for. Yeah, you hope that he develops. So they're right now they're saying, listen, not ready. I mean, they list him at 6'2". He's probably 6'1". Not ready to be a pro just yet, but listen, he'll get there, man. You just got to give him some time. Once he gets a good feel. What's going to be really awkward, though, is he's in summer league right now. And when his dad comes back from the Olympics and they've been roasting his ass for weeks, and then you got to face your pops at practice, bro, it's going to be like, bro, like, that's on Braun, man. You wanted your son to come out here so you could play with your son. Now your son's going to get cooked. And now your teammate's going to be like, bro, 50th guy on the bench, you better stay there. Right. Because he ain't ready yet. But we'll see. We shall see. I mean, it's still early. He's still kind of getting, his bearings underneath him. But, man, Matt, you're not wrong, bro. He might not be on 90% of the teams, bro. Maybe he could have had a chance to go and play in Toronto and probably would have done well in Toronto. But there's a lot of pressure for him to be on the LA Lakers with your pops. It's all cute and dandy, but when it really, really does matter, bro, you got to step up. You got to do something. And right now, he ain't. But anyway, on to the last topic. I don't know if you got anything else. If you're good with it.
I was going to say, to me, it's just so pointless to like, why can't you just appreciate the coolness factor of what happened here? And that's that he did get drafted by the team his dad was on. Like, that in itself is amazing. Why does it have to be talked about like, oh, there's Bronny James not doing this and that again? Like, because it's not like he's going to overnight transcend into this amazing basketball player and prove everybody wrong. So why sit around and say, oh, he sucks. Like that's what kills me is like everybody knows the reason why he was drafted, but they treat it as though he was drafted for strictly being a great player. So it's just a pointless conversation to have, yet everybody seems to be having it.
So pretty much LeBron is LeVar Ball, but he plays.
Pretty much.
So he might wait till Bryce James is ready to play.
And maybe and people say that he's
I might come out of retirement. I don't know where I'm gonna go, but Bryce, you know what I'm saying? He's gonna get both his sons in the league. And right. Then who knows, man? We speculating. Last topic of the day. How you feel about it?
So let it rip. We gotta be quick though. Caroline's on my ass. My mom's coming into town.
Listen, if you guys let's do it this way, folks. My man Zebon and I we wanted to put an all-time team. I saw a few things out there where people were putting all-time teams together, and I figured it would be fun. We didn't discuss it at all. We wanted to. We kind of touched a little bit on it, but we didn't discuss it at all. We might have some debates. We might be on it. You guys might rip us a new one, but why not? Let's have some fun. It's the last week of off season before training camp comes in, and now we're gonna be focused and dialed in on some football. But let's get right into it, man. If you're gonna pick an all-time team, the first question is gonna be controversial right off the bat, and this is where I need the chat to come into this. All-time team. Who's your quarterback? It really is between two people. Josh Allen or Jim Kelly?
Edwards. Oh,
you're a fool. Josh Allen or Jim Kelly. And this is also for the chat, by the way. This is for the chat. We're doing this live. We're doing this without we didn't really talk about this one. We're just gonna let it rip.
It's Josh Allen for me. I just think we're talking once, like I said, no disrespect, of course, to Jim Kelly, but I just think Josh Allen is maybe the most athletically gifted quarterback I've ever seen.
You can't go wrong with Josh Allen, and you can't go wrong with Jim Kelly. Jim Kelly is a Hall of Famer, and we are talking about in their prime. When we're talking about these players, we're talking about these players in their prime. I think Josh Allen is in his prime right now, and we talk about Jim Kelly in his prime. And for those that have been watching the Bills since the 60s, 70s, y'all know what's really good. You saw Jim Kelly in his prime, and you were seeing Josh Allen in his prime. That's the team, not Kelly. Listen, I don't think anybody's really messing with Kelly. They made it to the bowl without Kelly. Damn. So right. I guess. So guess what? I'm with you right now. Maybe my bias is showing. I'm taking Josh Allen too. He runs. He throws. The guy's just a dog. He's a dog.
He's a dog.
Jim Kelly might even tell you, yo, put my man's in that quarterback. He's the best quarterback the Bills have ever had. Yo, done. He's better than me. He might even say that. I'm not saying he is, but he might even say that. Even though you got a Hall of Famer, green jacket and all, gold jacket and all. But anyway, that's that. That's number one. So Josh Allen, I think we all there. Are we picking one running back or two running backs?
We can go two because that's the way the game's played now. It's a rotation.
Let's go with two. That's the way the game is played right now.
Yeah.
Two running backs. Are we unanimous on Thurman Thomas?
Yep. Thurman number one. And then this to me is where it gets fun. I mean, there's a lot of guys that I think fall in the same category. Had a couple of really good years, and it all depends on what you value.
Right.
So you could come down to either Marshawn Lynch, Shady, Fred Jackson, Travis Henry.
Damn, you're not even gonna look at OJ?
Oh, I mean, yeah, you could OJ, but Mike, I don't know what prime OJ's doing in 2024 football.
So if you're giving Thurman was your Marshall Faulk before Marshall Faulk. Catch the ball out of the backfield, run inside, run outside. Like he was that dude. Thurman, he's that dude. Number two, I like Shady. I like Willis McGahee.
I mean, prime Marshawn Lynch is a problem.
Prime Marshawn Lynch. Give me Shady and Thurman. That double attack for me. RB1, RB1A. I'm going with Thurman and Shady. Are you with that? Or are you with the shits with somewhere else?
Yeah, because I guess Marshawn would be more similar to Thurman than I think Shady.
Thurman wasn't your bruiser back. He was just like a solid all around everything back.
But I guess we really should probably put OJ in there because, and this is where it gets weird though, because I don't know how it would hold up. I do love Fred Jackson.
Fred Jackson. You're only speaking with your heart right now. You're speaking with your heart. We're talking about the all-time team. All-time team.
But to me, Fred Jackson is an all-time Bill. That's what's tough about the Bills. It's like it's hard to separate that love from the fan base from the play.
No broken tackles. Come on, Rico. Yo, we done got to break tackles when we make your brothers miss. Come on now. You know that.
I feel like we have to put OJ in there.
You put in OJ? All right. Listen, I could be swayed. I could be swayed. If you want to go a little bit of power and some speed with OJ, because OJ was power and speed, I could be swayed. I can say OJ and Thurman. I think we're good with it. We good with that? Two Hall of Famers in the backfield?
I'll take that. I'll take that.
You'll take that?
I'll sign up for that all day.
Let's roll. Fullback. I'm going to cheat here with fullback because I read an article that said Cookie Gilchrist was a great blocker, a fantastic blocker. So I'm going to cheat and put Cookie Gilchrist on that. I could have went with Larry Centers, or I could have went with Sam Gash. But I mean, shoot, let me get Cookie Gilchrist. I know he's a fan favorite. So Cookie Gilchrist as a fullback, are you good with that? I think we can roll.
Okay.
Let's roll. This is where it gets tight. Tight end. Let's pick two tight ends.
Yeah, this is where it gets tough for sure.
Or should we go with one tight end?
Let's go with one.
Oh, my guy. Here we go. Let's get it tough. One tight end. In the chat, who do you guys have? I'll give you some choices, and we can go from there. I was a big fan of Jay Reimers, I like Jay Rummersma. I mean, Jay was that dude. I liked him. Then you got Scott Chandler. My guy Scotty taking the shovel to the Patriots. Pete Metzelaar. Dare I say? No, he's too soon. He's a year in. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it.
You can't say Kincaid.
I won't do it.
I'm hoping a decade from now that we can. That's what I'm hoping for.
I agree. I think it's just too soon.
I mean, this is well before my time, but I mean, I think you'd probably have to go with Metzelaar, right? He played for the Bills for almost a decade.
Metzelaar was a juggernaut. He played a long time. This is a tough one, man. I'm
looking through here, and it looks like he's the most tenured Buffalo Bills tight end ever.
But this is today's NFL. You got to put this in today's NFL. Is Pete Metzelaar going to be good enough for today's NFL? Is he too light in the pants? Can he deal? But I mean, you can play the game long enough. I mean, he can bulk up. Give me Pete Metzelaar. I'll put Pete.
I'm down with that.
Give me Petey Crack. We'll put Petey Crack on the squad.
He's 6'7" too. I'm reading here 6'7".
Boy. He's a big boy. He's a big boy, man. Sam Gash was that dude, but I got to put Cookie Gilchrist in there because I'm cheating. I'm going to Cookie Gilchrist. My man Pierre says, let's not be silly. We had 0 true athletic tight ends. Dalton Kincaid has to be the answer there, fellas. We trying to win, aren't we? In today's NFL? You going with old man Pete?
But that's what's so tough about this, because if it's today's NFL, I don't know if I'm taking.
Why don't you go with Charles Clayton?
I don't know if OJ Speed then is OJ Speed today.
Listen, did Emmitt Smith have mad speed? Heck no, he didn't have mad speed, but he's a damn true Hall of Famer. Don't let speed get to you. Do you have vision?
That's true. I guess it's just the thought, like the visualizing of the play. It would be so cool to see how it would look.
Bro, if you're putting Kincaid in after 1 year, isn't that wild? Are we ready to do that after 1 year? All I can say is
I'm hoping like a couple of years from now, it's a no-brainer.
Damn.
Like how we're sitting here saying with confidence, Josh Allen over Kelly. I hope we have the confidence to say that about Kincaid in a couple of years about the tight end position for the Bills.
Best 1 year ever. Put Kincaid in there. yo.
I'm ready.
All right.
I'm ready.
Are we switching it?
No. I don't think we can do that yet.
I'm going to keep Pete in there. Let's keep Pete. Pierre, you wildin', bro. Here we go. Let's go to the receiver room. I think this one is...
This is where it gets fun.
It does get fun. Are we good with Diggs?
Well, let's put Andre Reed in first. All right,
let's go. Let's get that out of the way. Andre Reed, you can hit the slot. You can go outside, but I'm going to put you in the slot for Andre. Are we good with Molds?
Yep.
Eric Molds. All right. That's number 2. You put Eric Molds to the outside, wherever he wants to be. He can be the X, he can be the Y, wherever he wants. He'll be that guy. Sammy Watkins.
No, not for me. I would take Lee Evans over Sammy Watkins.
But we're picking 6 receivers here, by the way. We want to pick 6 receivers because I mean it's going to be interchangeable. We're not just going to pick 2 unless we're just doing all pro and we're just sticking with 2.
Well, what version of Terrell Owens am I getting?
This is a tough one, bro. Actually, we can't pick 6. We wild if we pick 6. So let's pick 3. We're gonna pick 3. Let's keep it.
Let's pick 4.
You going with 4?
Yeah,
Here's like 6.
You can have 4 out there at any given time. You can have 4 out there. All right, you want to do 3? We can do 3.
We'll do 3. We'll do 1 slot, and 2 outside.
Okay.
Here we go. Eric Molds is 1. I'm going. I gotta put Eric Molds.
Molds, Andre Reed. I think you gotta go Diggs.
Does Stevie fit? Yeah, we're going 3 though. By the way, does Stevie fit in there?
I love Stevie, but no.
What about Sammy Watkins? Sammy Watkins was a great route runner.
No way. You cannot have Sammy Watkins on there. No way.
Eric Molds, T.O., Andre Reed? Or Reed, Molds, Diggs?
I think that's what I would go for.
Reed, Molds, and Diggs.
I loved Lee Evans. I did love Lee Evans.
No, you can't put Lee in there. If we're going with 3, you can't put Lee.
No, not for 3. I don't know what version of T.O. am I getting? That's the question.
Give me San Fran T.O.
Oh my God, then T.O. I'm taking T.O. over Eric Molds probably.
Yo, we're talking about today's NFL, right? So T.O. Molds.
T.O. was unbelievable, man.
Yo, listen, this might be controversial, but give me T.O., Eric Moulds in slot. Give me Diggs in the slot. Give me Diggs in the slot, man. I'm going with
Andre Reed looks like he can still play. That dude does not age. You ever see Andre Reed, like when stuff just pops up, looks the same as he did back in the 90s.
No, they said, nah, bro, you got to get the version that was with Buffalo. We got to go with the Buffalo version.
And that
if
seems
the Buffalo version, T.O.'s out of here, bro.
That's honestly why I didn't pick Marshawn Lynch earlier, because he wasn't like Seahawks Marshawn Lynch. Yeah. All right, so we can't take T.O.
Listen, we're not, then it's going to be Moulds.
Do you remember how
Moulds, Diggs, Reed?
But do you just remember how insane it was when the Bills got T.O.?
It was like in those jerseys. It
was pandemonium. Get your popcorn ready.
They gave him a key to the city.
Dude, that was how bad this franchise was. That would be the equivalent right now. Think about it. That would be the equivalent right now of the Bills signing OBJ and having it be like the biggest thing that's ever happened to this franchise in the last decade. That's what the equivalent would be.
Yeah, you're right.
Like you'd bring OBJ in, immediately give him a key to the city. My mom, I've told this story on here 1,000 times, I think, but I'll do it again. My mom was in line at the Bills store at the Eastview Mall, which no longer exists. It hasn't existed in like a decade or more.
Right.
In line at the mall at 8 a.m., basically in her pajamas, to get me the T.O. jersey the second it came out. And she got interviewed by the local news. They came out and interviewed the people in line waiting for them to get the jersey. And of course, my mom was one of them. That was the pandemonium surrounding on the way out the door T.O. coming to Buffalo. When you think back on it, it is insane what that meant to this team and how bad the team truly was.
It was
why it meant so
Trent
much.
Edwards whipping that thing all over the place. It was something. It was something.
Fitz, right?
What's that?
Wasn't there a little Fitz in there with T.O.?
With Fitz, was I thought it was Trent. Wasn't it Trent?
No, it was, but I think I guess Fitz was Stevie Johnson then. Right.
That was definitely that era, but I thought it was Trent because Trent was pushing that rock. Maybe it was
that whole era just blends together into one gigantic.
It does all blend together. What a mess we were.
I don't even know.
We were a freaking mess. All right. I'm going Diggs slot. I'm going Moulds. Damn. Stevie Johnson?
No. We're not
doing T.O.
No, I know. We're going Fitz, Moulds.
Fitzy was with T.O. It was Fitzy and T.O.
Yeah, that's why. Okay, that's right.
No way Trent Edwards was pushing that ball down deep like that. No way.
You know, when we saw Stevie Johnson, I got the jersey up here, by the way. I look at it every day. I love it. Stevie Johnson is one of the coolest guys ever. When I first met him, I had him sign a jersey, and it says "To King Ziva." That's what it says, "To King Ziva." We were chatting with him forever.
That's my guy.
You know, he said, he told us the best passer of the ball he ever played with. Was Fitz.
Yeah,
the best ball he'd ever been around. Like the best ball he'd ever played with, essentially, was Fitz.
Love it. And here's a crazy story. When I had him on the pod, and I was geeked out. Everybody knows that's my guy. And he says the way I was headed to Buffalo in off season, and Fitzy was headed to Buffalo, and they didn't really meet each other until they were on the same flight, and they started chopping it up with each other, and then they started building. And the way they built up with one another is scout team. They started building that chemistry in the scout team, and then boom, that's how it all took place.
I just thought of this. I had the weirdest interaction with him one time. On Twitter one time, he just tweets an alien emoji, and it's just an alien emoji at Zbot out of nowhere. It was like at 10 o'clock at night. I never forgot. I was in Cleveland I was at my buddy's house. I just comment. I don't know if this is good or bad. And he just goes, "You funny." Never anything back, and then deleted the whole thread like the next day.
He probably thought you were somebody else.
It happened.
You thought you were somebody else. You probably talking. He probably thought you were talking junk, and he's like, "Ooh, I added the wrong person. Shoot, you funny."
No, I think I said something about the Bills that night that was funny. I think, and then I don't know. It was so odd though, and then he deleted it. So then I was starting to question if it ever happened. But I love Stevie Johnson. He's a man.
I'm a big fan. So are we doing Stevie Johnson on there or what?
No, I don't love him that much. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm going Stevie in the slot. Diggs, Molds, let's roll.
Yes.
Actually, I can't.
No. You got to put Andre Reed in there.
I can't do that.
Shot. You can't. No way. You got to put Andre Reed in there.
I'm picking with my heart.
All
Molds, Diggs, Reed.
Yes.
Let's roll. O-line. Ruben Brown, guard. Billy Shaw, Kent Hall, center. Delamure. Something wants me to put Jason Peters in there, but Jason Peters wasn't that.
I mean, I would really, really love to put Kyle Williams in there.
Hold on. Let's get to the defense. Kyle Williams will come.
What are we doing? We're doing
interior line.
Oh, okay.
So Billy Shaw, Ruben Brown, Kent Hall, Delamure. Yeah, I guess we could. I like Jason Peters. He wasn't that dude on the line. He wasn't that dude, so I can't put him there. But we had some good tackles in this game. But the O-line is one of those things where you got to keep it simple, and I'm gonna keep it like that. I won't put any more and try to.
Yeah, that's where it gets tough.
It does get tough.
The old school for me, like before my time, I can't name you the O-line off the top of my head. But Ken Hall, I know for sure I can, and that's a lock.
Oh, he's in there. Oh, he's in there for sure. But let's put it. Let's go to the opposite side. Defensive front.
Yeah.
4 linemen.
Yeah, that's where it gets. I mean, I gotta put Kyle Williams in there.
So you go Bruce Smith.
Oh, of course, yeah.
You gonna put Kyle Williams in the middle?
Well, Daryl Talley's got to be in there.
I like Mario Williams, man. If you give me Mario Williams and Bruce Smith on the ends, I'm happy. Give me.
Well, we can put Daryl Talley at linebacker, right? I mean, he was edge, but you can put him at linebacker, right?
Yeah, we can put him on a linebacker, but we want to stick in the trenches. I don't know how y'all feel about it, but my man said Kent Hall, best center, Ruben Brown, best guard for sure. There's no question about that. We know that.
But I was confused when a guy's labeled as linebacker when they play up on the line, but it always confuses me. Like, is Von Miller's labeled as a linebacker in his position? Like when you look on his position,
yeah, no, it's true.
That always throws me off.
Sam
Adams is a good one.
So would you go Bruce, Mario Williams?
How about Pat Williams?
I would have took Pat Williams. I'll take Pat Williams. Listen, that duo was something else. Duo was something else.
I will, dude. So this is a true story.
Ted Washington. You have to put Ted Washington in. Ted in the middle. Yes. Give me Pat Williams and Ted Washington. Mario Williams, Bruce Smith. It's over it. Don't talk to me about anything else.
I think that sounds about right.
Yo, that's fire. I don't know if you could beat. I don't think you could beat anything else, man. That's it right there. What's Pierre say? Pierre says, Mario, Pat, Sam, and Bruce. You putting Sam over Ted? I don't know, man. Ted was that dude, boy. Ted Washington was that dude. All right, let's move on. Let's go linebacker.
Pat Williams, just to say this. At my parents' house, in the downstairs bathroom, is a giant picture of Pat Williams' pick 6 against the Dolphins back in the early 2000s, just right across from the toilet. So that's why I love Pat Williams so much. Icon.
That's what I'm going with. I'm going with Patty Dubs. I'm going with Ted Dubs. I'm going with Bruce and Mario Williams. I love Aaron Schobel. I love
Schobel. And I guess Kyle Williams is like the Fred Jackson, where like you just love him so much you want to put him in, but you can't.
You want to, but you can't do it. You can't put him over Ted. You need the big boys in the trenches. Those boys would have been nasty. Linebacker. I mean, we go with 3 linebackers. Let's go with the.
So Daryl Talley for sure.
You like Daryl Talley in there?
Yep. And then you got Takeo Spikes. You got.
I like Takeo.
My man Paul Posluszny. He won't make the cut, but I love Paul Posluszny.
You just like saying his name.
Well, he was a PSU guy. I just love the Bills drafted him.
He had London Fletcher. London Fletcher in the middle for me.
Fletcher's a great choice.
Give me London Fletcher in the middle.
Cornelius Bennett, right?
3 linebackers. So we got to stick with. Are you ready to put? I mean, this is today's NFL, folks. Remember, this is today's NFL. NFL.
You know my love for Milano.
In today's NFL.
You got to put Bennett in there. I think. I mean, we're basically putting in the whole '90s team, but That's
I
how
mean,
good
shoot,
they
thank you
were.
if that's the case. But we need, London Fletcher. Give me, I say Tally and Bennett. Daryl Talley and Bennett wouldn't be so bad. That's a good linebacking squad.
Yeah.
I'm good with that, man. As long as London is in the middle, let's roll. Because that boy's nice.
Yeah, that would be.
London Fletcher, Matt Milano, and Bennett. Oof, that's a.
You wonder how good some of these guys really could have been if they were on a better team. Like that's what I always wonder. Like these one-offs, like Fletcher, like we were talking about earlier, like Eric Molds and Lee Evans. Like, what would have happened if you had talent around these guys?
Buddy, we could play that game like crazy. Matt Milano, does he qualify? Can we put Matt Milano in there?
I mean,
Milano,
my love for him, but
you know what though? If you think about it, because it's today's NFL, if we went Cornelius Bennett, Matt Milano, and London Fletcher, this trio right here, that might be nasty. That might be nasty, boy.
I do like the little old school, new school.
Yeah, now you rocking with
you're getting a taste of every era with that. You're getting
damn right.
The 90s, the early 2000s, and the present.
I like it. Let's roll with that.
I don't hate that.
I like that. All right, let's go to cornerback room. This one was, to me, no brainer. Tell me how you feel about this one. Give me Gilmore.
Yep.
Give me Nate Clements.
Yep.
And who would you put at slot? For me, if I was going to choose a slot corner, if I had to pick one, I'll tell you this. Give me Nate Clements. Give me Gilmore. Give me, you know who I want? Winfield. Give me Antoine Winfield. Antoine Winfield Sr. in the slot. Bro, let's go. Let's roll. I mean, there's some honorable mention I could throw in there, but that's who my corner position is right there. Those three in. That's it. You know what I mean? You can't go wrong with that. And then center. You got me saying center. And then at the safety position, this is where you might remember, you might not remember, right? I will always pick Jarius Byrd. Jarius Byrd is always going to be.
Dude, remember the interception streak Jarius Byrd went on?
Bro, this guy was nasty, man.
He was.
He's nasty. He was nasty. So those are my three corners and my safety. I'm going no Trey. I can't do Trey. I'm sorry, bro. I'm taking Nate Clements over Trey, and I'm also taking Gilmore over Trey. Trey's nice, but I'm taking Antoine Winfield in the slot. Teron Johnson is cool, but I'm taking Antoine Winfield. Antoine Winfield was a dog. We should have never got rid of him. We should have paid that brother. We let him walk. Damn, we let him walk. I was mad. We let him walk, but we shouldn't have. So those are my three. And then at safety, I'm going to go Jarius Byrd, and I'll go with Henry Jones. Henry Jones, I was a big fan of Henry Jones. I liked Henry Jones. Him and Kelso. Was it Schultz? Excuse me, Schultz. We had Schultz in the back. But I'm going to go with Jarius Byrd and Henry Jones. Those are my two in the backfield, and we good. And then who are you taking as your kicker?
Oh, Ryan Lindell for sure.
Oh my God, that's a name I've not heard in so long.
That's a no-brainer. Ryan.
Yeah,
Lindell.
I like that.
Ryan Lindell kicking, Brian Mormon punting.
Done. Finito. There's your all-time team, folks. There's your all-time team. How do we do? Are we good? Do we leave anybody out?
Off the top of our head, a quick one. I like the little mix of the old school, new school we had. It'd be interesting if we actually sat down. Like if you actually went through and did all the numbers, I wonder what this would actually look like. But I think for off the top of the head, a little new school, old school, that sounds like a damn good team to me.
Listen, I'm gonna have to replay this video and actually go through it again, and put it on graphics to show you the all-time Bills team. We either gonna get roasted bad, or people will be like, "Yo, that's the best team I've ever seen put together."
Problem for me is it's just the era I was born after the 90s era. So the era I grew in was such shit. My memory, you know what I mean? It only goes back to that era, and there's nothing to pull from. So these are always so tough for me.
I will say I'll replace Ryan Lindell. I was never a big Lindell fan. I'm gonna go with Steve Christie all day.
See, yeah, that's a great choice.
I might even put Hauschka. Was it Hauschka that we liked a lot?
Hausch Money. I loved Hausch Money for a little while.
I was a fan of Hausch Money, man. You
know what? Scott Norwood was a damn good kick outside of the wide right as well. He's a damn good kicker.
Yeah, but we might be opening wounds for some folks, so they might want to leave him out there. But I like Hauschka, man. Hauschka was my guy, right? Steve Christie, Hauschka. I mean, it could be interchangeable. And then we'll go from there. So, folks, my man said, yo, Rico, how much of your Gilmore pick is based on his time in Buffalo versus with his time in New England? Ooh, that's a good question. Gilmore would get burnt all the time in Buffalo. Gilmore was a good player. You're right, though. How much of it was... I'm looking at it when he was with Buffalo because he was nice. But let's just say I remove Gilmore. Who stands out to me? That could be the guy that stands in. Trey White, maybe. I guess Trey would be the guy. But I like Gilmore over Trey because Gilmore was physical. He would get in there and tackle. So I kind of like that move. But not bad at all. But folks, that's it for us. We're wrapping up. But you got to go.
Yeah, Mama Bell's in town. Got to go meet up with her.
Yep. Go do your thing. Folks, that's it for us. Zeba, we're gonna talk in the car if we have to. But I don't want to interfere with what the festivities are. But folks, that's it for us. It's the Rico and Bot in the Afternoon pod. If you guys enjoyed this show, do us a favor. Smash that like. If you guys have not subscribed to the channel. We are trying to boost it up and get ready for the season. And this is how we're going to do it.
Coming quick, baby. Coming quick.
Coming quick, man. Off season is getting underway. Training camp next week. The Bills season starts in 9 weeks from now. Yo, we getting into it. So, folks, enjoy the rest of your weekend. I hope you guys enjoy the show. If you guys have any topics you guys want us to hit next week, let us know, and we'll get into it. So, folks, have yourself a great weekend. Z-Bot, enjoy yourself with Mama Dukes, and we'll catch you guys on the flip side. Ladies and gentlemen, the Buffalo Fanatics, Z-Bot, Rico in the afternoon. We'll catch you guys on the flip. Peace.
We block them all, we protecting Josh. Salute to him, he the general now. Rico got legends for interviews. How the Buffalo Bills got the best fan base. Away games, red, white, blue in the crowd. Hey, I'm a Buffalo fanatic. Play good, be humble. Number 17, the captain. I'm a